is I just need like a camera of some sort.
Yeah.
Cause I have a camera like on this, and I tried to position it, but it's like this camera like
Right.
sucks like so fucking bad, and then everything else is just fucked up. So I was looking into it. My boy Shing is like he'll literally do anything to not do like work.
Okay.
Like when we were studying for our board exams, I was like, yeah, like I would tell him like anything, and he would be like, something to not do my work right now. Like, you fucking got it. He was doing other people's homework and shit like that. Literally would do anything just to not fucking.
That's crazy.
I was like, bro, you need to get your shit together. What did you think of these initial? When I was looking through like the free agency tracker on the NFL thing,
Uh-huh.
there were a couple dudes who I didn't notice like made some moves, but for the most part, I felt like I kind of knew everything that was going on.
Yeah, no, you have for for all the positions for the most part, you have everybody that's like relevant. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Um,
Which I feel like is like the easy part.
yeah, for sure.
But
Because
the
like,
difference between like a number five guy and then someone who you think is number five and drops down to like eight is
yeah,
like ridiculous. Like, that's like it changes so much.
yeah, and like the only reason is just because like there's been like random trades this year and like stuff like that. Like I don't know, man. Like I would just move just some people around just because of what it is going on.
Yeah, the Jets really need to trade Jamal Adams to the fucking Houston Texans to get back like literally their franchise.
Yeah, because the Texans are shot.
I was looking at this. Do you think? Because I don't know. Like, it's so weird. Because any other season, you'd be like fucking DeAndre Hopkins going to the Cardinals, like Tom Brady going to fucking Tampa Bay. You'd be like, oh, they have time to like work it out. But this is the only time where you're like, all right, shit. Like, you're kind of just have to like things are gonna go on the fly. So if you already have shit like pre-planned, like especially guys like fucking Lamar Jackson, Patty Mahomes already have like their shit ready. But I'm like, does Tom Brady have the like capability right now to be like a number one quarterback? He can be a QB1, but is he like can he rank above those other guys?
I think that he can rank. The only reason why I think that he can rank high is just really because he has Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. Those two guys put up numbers with Jameis Winston, who threw 30
They're
interceptions.
ridiculous.
Like that guy was blind last year. He literally had to get surgery to fix his eyes, and he did. He threw 30 touchdowns with those two receivers. So I mean, just the way Tom Brady just throws the ball, and Tom Brady, like in his career, he really never had like a go-to guy for a long time, like a long shot. Like he had Randy Moss, he had Wes Welker,
Hmm.
like but like there was never like multiple seasons where he was just like going to one guy specifically. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And it was just like his main target. Like he always had like that, like a kind of good guy, and like just random ass wide receivers.
Literally
That
random
he
guys.
tried to just make good at that point.
The
Because
fact that Chris Hogan is like almost a household name,
yeah,
like, and the fact that he didn't even play really football in college, like he was
yeah,
known as a lacrosse player. Like the fact that you could literally throw any fucking random like 5'10" white guy on the Patriots
mm-hmm.
and just be like, "Can you run fast?" Like kinda like.
Wes Welker right there, bro. The guy who always had a game. He was the best receiver on that team for a while. Like what? And that's just the Bill Belichick Tom Brady system right there. At that point, like that's just what you have to realize with that. So that's why like I would keep him. I would definitely keep him pretty high. But like people like Deshaun Watson, man, like the guy's a beast. But like what is he gonna do?
Yeah,
You know?
it's tough. I was looking at their shit. Not shit, wrong one. I was looking at their shit today, and they got like Braden Cooks, which I saw. They traded,
Yeah, but like
which is not like anything that you got back for fucking
DeAndre Hopkins, like the
yeah.
third best receiver in the league. You know?
So they picked up Randall Cobb, Braden Cooks. They still have that guy Darren Fells for tight end, which is
Yeah.
like whatever. Like at least he kind of knows the guy already.
And then they have the deep cut threat in Fuller.
If he
So
stays healthy.
right, he's always hurt.
Yeah.
But when he's on for sure. But like honestly, like I don't know if I would put him in the top 5 right now, just because of what he actually lost. You know?
Yeah, it'll be tough. I don't know how their offensive line is. I don't know if it's like trash or not.
Well, they built it up like back in the day, and then they traded. Did they trade for Laramie Tunsil, or did they actually trade him away? Because
That
I
I
know
don't
the
know.
Dolphins got him, and then they traded him to the Texans, and I don't know what happened after that because that guy's a monster.
There's nothing on it with the thing I'm looking at. They just re-signed their kicker for like a 4-year deal.
He's pretty good though.
Yeah.
Far back order.
So who would you rather take? You think you'd rather take Brady, which I want to see how the wide receivers do fantasy wise.
Fantasy wise, like Tom Brady's never been top tier.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Like he's obviously like a safe quarterback to have, but he's never gonna give you like crazy numbers just because that's just not his type of game. So I would like people like Drew Brees. I would definitely put over him. Carson Wentz, if
If
he figures
healthy,
it out,
yeah.
I would definitely put over him
They have a bunch of new faces too.
for
Well,
sure.
for wide receivers, but any new faces is better than the faces they had because
Yeah.
their wide receiver was like Cora was just disgusting last year. It was like a band of misfits and a bunch of fucking free agents. You had like
And they had nobody else to give the ball to because the running backs weren't great.
yeah, you had Miles Sanders like rookie kind of figuring it out,
Yeah.
but it wasn't like they had fucking a top tier running back.
Yeah. And like Aaron Rodgers was slept on last year and he went 13-3. Like that whole Packers team was slept on last year and they went 13-3.
I feel bad for Aaron Rodgers. I feel like they're wasting
yeah,
his shit, man.
At this point, he's gonna have to figure it out with the head coach. And maybe they can, I don't know, but I don't see them getting past. I see them making the playoffs, but again, I don't see them getting past some top tier teams in the NFC.
Now they'll lose to like the Saints, and then the Saints will lose to the Vikings, and
Something
the
like
Vikings will lose to someone else, and then that person, probably the fucking Niners, and the Niners will go to the fucking Super Bowl and lose to fucking
Let's
Patty
not-
Mahomes again.
Let's not do that because Niners are gonna figure it out. I hope so.
Speaking of your fucking Niners, where do you think Jimmy G falls? I have Jimmy G at like 17,
I see that.
in like the realm of like a Phillip Rivers, Sam Darnold.
On the list that you made, fantasy wise, I think you're in the ballpark for sure. I would say like mid, maybe like 13, 14. Like I think he's gonna do better than Big Ben, just because. Matt Stafford, that's just like a 50-50. Like the guy has a cannon. He's always had a cannon.
Literally
He's
just
gonna
has a
get the ball
cannon.
to the receivers, obviously. So like fantasy wise, I get where you're going with that.
And I have him high, but I have his wide receivers low. Because I feel literally the same way. I'm like, Matt Stafford has a fucking cannon, but I was like, do I really trust the Lions? Like,
Yeah, no, there's no reason to trust the Lions. You put Josh Allen pretty high, I see.
I think the Bills are going to be, like,
I think the Bills are going to be good.
pretty
too.
fucking,
But
not
to put
sick,
him
but,
high like that's ballsy. That's very ballsy. You put
Yeah.
over Drew Brees and Aaron Rodgers.
Drew Brees, I think, finished 9th last year. And Aaron Rodgers didn't have, like, crazy numbers.
Yeah.
But Josh Allen, I think, was a real, like, high-low last year.
Mhm.
It was either, like... And then you give him all the same weapons, and then you add Stephon Diggs, who's probably just fucking dying to have a guy with, like, some real set of balls to throw the fucking football.
Yeah.
So as long as...
I forgot about Stephon.
So as long as he doesn't, like, turn into Jameis Winston and just throw the ball into fucking the opposite team's hands, like, 40 times a day...
Yeah.
then I think that he'll do pretty well. And he's pretty athletic, too. So I was thinking, like, he has better legs than Drew Brees and probably Aaron Rodgers at this point, like, for getting into the end zone type of thing. Because
Yeah.
he's a younger kid and
Yeah.
he'll throw it around.
I feel that. I'm surprised that Aaron Rodgers can still move the way he does.
It's fucking crazy.
Right?
It's Aaron Rodgers is something else, man.
I think he's the best, like, pure quarterback, like...
The plays that he makes are...
like in our, like, generation. Like, Tom Brady has the rings, but, like, Aaron Rodgers, like, pure quarterback.
Oh, yeah.
That man is different.
Because he's so athletic. It's like he's so underratedly athletic. Because he's in such, like, a small market. It's
Yeah.
like if he was in, like, fucking... like Louisiana, like where Drew Brees is, working with that coach, like with those weapons, and like he wouldn't have just made one Super Bowl, like or whatever, he wouldn't just have one chip,
Yeah.
like he would have been fucking set right now, like 3 or 4 rings,
Yeah,
like
because he's definitely better than Drew Brees.
like
Not by a lot, but, like, he is better than Drew Brees.
like overall wise, especially like playmaking wise, like he can make plays. Drew Brees is going to be extremely consistent and shit like that,
Mhm.
and that helps you win games in like a different fashion. But Aaron Rodgers is like, oh, we need like a 70-yard touchdown right now with 3 seconds left.
Figure
And
it
Aaron
out.
Rodgers is just like, all right, let me find like the cosine of this angle with the wind, and we'll just fucking throw the ball up there, and then
Yeah.
someone will come down with it.
Yeah, for sure. I've always wanted to talk about it, but like, just talking to Cowboys fans is just really annoying about Dak Prescott. That man does not deserve $32 million.
No. Oh my God.
Okay, I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. He does not deserve that money. Like, yeah, like he's good, and like he coming out like his rookie year, like not throwing like any interceptions, basically. Like, I get where you're going, but no, he's not. He should not be paid the most out of all quarterbacks there are. Where's the standard gonna be? You know, like if you're gonna pay him 32, you have to pay Russell Wilson and Patrick Mahomes 40.
Easily.
You know
Like easily.
what I'm saying? Like,
And they're probably like I'm not mad with 40, but they're like probably looking like this guy is getting paid 32. Like
And
no
he-
offense, but I'm
he-
twice the quarterback.
Yeah.
Like
Pat Mahomes is younger, first of all, and second of all, he just won a Super Bowl. I know. Honestly, what makes me like mad is that obviously being a 49ers fan, whatever, lost in the Super Bowl, the Chiefs' defense isn't the greatest.
no,
If they didn't have Tyrann Mathieu,
who's killing it, man? Holy shit.
listen, I don't think they would be as. But give it up to them because like they've had like not a mediocre, above average defense like the entire year last year. But their offense was just way too powerful, and they were just like, let's just go balls to the wall and throw the ball to Tyreek Hill and give the ball to Damien Williams during the season. You know what I'm saying?
Tyreek Hill is so lucky to have Travis Kelce on the team. Cause if they didn't have Travis Kelce, like if you gave them like Darren Fells, like or some fucking no name like just regular ass dude, like it changes. It's more like having fucking George Kittle on your team, like having that fucking tight end, like literally changes your team like for the better and like in such a dramatic way
It's
too.
crazy how much like tight ends are becoming weapons like again in the NFL. Like you had back in the day like Antonio Gates, Tony Gonzalez, whatever. But I feel like it at a point it fell off to where like they were just like straight blocking and like not using them in the passing game. But tight ends nowadays are just so athletic to where like they basically are a wide receiver at some point sometimes. Like people like Travis Kelce and even like Phelps, like he's kind of like mediocre tight end, but like he's still like really good, and like Kittle like is just phenomenal. Like Mark Andrews on the Ravens, like that guy's crazy. Gronk is retired, but I guarantee he's still gonna have a good season. Like these guys are just really good.
And if
at
you're
catching the ball and like finding open areas, and they're fast too. Being a fast tight end, you're unstoppable. You're 6'6", 234, 240,
which is
and you're gonna
crazy.
be a monster
Oh my
down
God.
the field running 4 shots. Like what is going on? Like obviously you're gonna be a target, you know.
And if you're looking at like the top, because you got Kelsey, Kittle, Andrews, Gronk, Zach Ertz, and you're thinking, well, really the top 4, I'm thinking Super Bowl contenders right off the bat. And I don't know if that's like, I mean, I guess if you look at like quarterbacks and you look at the top 4, it's like Super Bowl contenders. But I feel like, you look at running backs like Christian McCaffrey and the Panthers, like he's a phenomenal player.
Top, and then everybody else is kind of just like way below him. Like Zeke is a beast, Saquon's a beast, but like the way that Christian McCaffrey runs the ball and is in the passing game, the way he is, he's unmatched. Like he's the best running back in the league by far.
He does some crazy shit. But like, I mean, you look at quarterbacks, and then you think like their top 4, fucking even top 5, top 4. You'll be like, all right, like they could win a Super Bowl. You look at the tight ends, you're like top 4, like all right, they could, like those teams could win a Super Bowl. And then you kind of look at like the running backs and wide receivers, you look at their top fours and you're not thinking like Super Bowls. You're
No
just
way.
thinking like great players. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so I don't know if there's something about the tight end that makes your team a Super Bowl team, or if it just so happens that you're a tight end with these fucking quarterbacks.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's just like a relationship or if that's something that's like to be seen in the future. Like,
Yeah.
you have to have this like fucking stud tight end to really be able to have your offense. Because if you're gonna be an offensive team, I guess you need the tight end. But if you're gonna be a defensive team, you don't really need the tight end. Like,
Yeah.
if you're gonna win by defense.
I definitely understand. I mean, I just feel like the tight end position just be like running back. They run the ball, and they'll for the most teams in the NFL, they'll catch like maybe like 5 passes or below like a game. Like you have the exceptions of Zeke and Christian McCaffrey and like Dalvin Cook, like somebody like that. But like a lot of like Kamara is like a good passing running back. But, like a lot of running backs like don't focus on that. I feel like, but to have a tight end that blocks for you on the blind side and can go out for like a pass like 20 yards down the field. Like I just feel like that's just a different dynamic that gives an offense a better like position to like move the ball and like score more touchdowns. I guess like having a great running back is obviously important, but I feel like having a great tight end puts your team at way more of an advantage. And you can literally just, like you said before, like there's a legit reason for that. Like Christian McCaffrey's the best running back in the league, but his team is not a playoff team.
No one's thinking the Panthers are winning the Super Bowl.
You know,
like
there's
no one
they
thinking
won the Super Bowl 3 years ago, but they had a pretty nice defense and Cam Newton was going nuts.
Yeah.
You know.
Which is, looking at the quarterbacks, it's crazy that I had to put Cam Newton in the others with guys like Mitch Trubisky and fucking Dwayne Haskins.
That man deserves a starting job. I don't care where it is.
Because I'm like...
I don't give a shit where it is. Put that man on a team. I think he just needs a different situation. Like, he's been on the Panthers his entire career. I think he's had enough. I
don't know what it was like. Because I know his head coach, whatever the fuck his name is, he was mainly like a defensive mind. So I don't know what it was like working with like different offensive coordinators and shit like that. But I mean, towards the end of like his time there, like last season, the season before, you could tell in like the off season and shit like that, he wasn't like, it didn't look like he was focused on football. But I think like this is gonna kind of bite him in the ass, and he'll be like, all right, like maybe I need to kind of like focus a little bit more on like making sure that I show up on game days and shit like that. Not that like it was all his fault, but
But like Ron Rivera was like a really he is a good coach.
Yeah.
Like and now he's on the Redskins and everything. Like I feel like he's gonna help Dwayne Haskins a bunch. You know. But I mean I do see what you're saying. I just truly think he needs a different situation. But if you look at the teams out there that have starting quarterbacks on the bottom tier, like Cam Newton is better than Garrett Minshew, man. Get this man on the Jaguars.
Oh yeah.
Leonard Fournette is DJ Chark.
That's why I fucking dropped down DJ Chark, was because I had him last year, and he was like fucking going off at the beginning, and then kind of like steadied out towards the end, and then I was like, yeah, like he has been playing like all right, and I don't blame them for being like wanting to kind of see what he can do, but at the same time, like I forget who was talking about this. I think it was on the Pat McAfee show. And they had on like one of the like executives for the Miami Dolphins, and he's like, you know, you have guys like, which is crazy that they brought in Nick Foles over Cam Newton. Probably could have gotten Cam Newton for cheaper too. Like, and then you're like, all right, so you got these guys who you're a general manager and you drafted them and they're a high pick, and then all of a sudden you know you have a guy like Cam Newton who's like can bring teams to the Super Bowl. And it's like, I don't want him because, like, I got my guy. And it's like, well, your guy fucking sucks.
Basically. Like, even better quarterbacks than Garrett, like Big Ben, he's on the outs. Get him out of Pittsburgh, bro. It's over.
Yeah, he's gotten pretty old.
It's over. You know, imagine Cam Newton playing ball with Antonio Brown.
If it was him, Le'Veon Bell, Juju, AB, and now they just got Eric Ebron as tight end.
Yeah.
Holy shit! Like,
imagine that.
That's crazy.
Like even now, even without Le'Veon, even without AB, get this man on the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Yeah, because you never know how long Bro, you really want to throw Mason Rudolph back on the field? That was tough, man. That was tough. And I drafted Big Ben. Like, I remember I drafted him last year. I was like, oh, like, I know he's not, like, crazy good, but he gets a lot of yards. And, like, he'll have those couple days where it's, like, just crazy. And he'll have that one day where it's, like, 4 interceptions and, like, 2 yards. And it's like, I'll take that one week, like, for wherever I drafted him, but that sucked.
Yeah.
Do you think, Kyler Murray over under 7.5 quarterback ranking? You think there are 7 better quarterbacks than him, or
Overall or fantasy wise?
fantasy-wise?
I'm gonna go with a yes just because he's so young. But Kyler Murray, I feel like, is somebody this season who's gonna have a breakout season. To where you're just like, damn, this kid is like actually for real, and like he's gonna bring the. Come on, the guy has the top 3 wide receiver now, and he still has Larry Fitz.
Their wide receiver core is going to be pretty fucking
You know,
crazy.
I know Larry Fitz is old as shit, but like.
But they still have Christian Kirk, too.
Yeah.
So it's like those 2 guys, which was like, yeah, it was like, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you add like DeAndre, and you're like, oh shit, like this is. They needed the number one wide receiver, and they literally got like a number 1 in the fucking history of the NFL wide receiver. Yeah. Like that was pretty nuts.
And like it's always my luck. I swear to God, any sport, baseball, the NL East is one of the best divisions of baseball. You can't even argue that. Of course, NFC West in football, of course, got to be one of the best in the league. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, it's tough.
It's always that shit. And like back in like when the 49ers were like trash or whatever, it was no competition. When the 49ers were trash, basically the Cardinals were trash and the Rams weren't really that good. It was the Seahawks really taking that division over for a while, for like a long time. Like we're talking before that, 2011-ish, when the Cardinals went to the Super Bowl against the Steelers. But like other than that, like the Seahawks really like took over that division. But of course, when everybody gets good, that entire division's one of the best in the league. It's just my luck with that.
That's how I feel with the fucking Islanders and Rangers too. It's like not only are there less teams in the Western Conference, but the Western Conference fucking sucks. Mm-hmm. The bottom 3 teams are all in California. Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like, and then the top 5 teams, like, all the time in the standings, and everyone's like, oh, it's because, like, you guys have, like, Detroit in the East. I'm like, suck my dick, bro. Like, suck my dick. I'm like, you have fucking the Capitals always, like, number 1.
Yeah.
And then you got fucking Pittsburgh, who's always, like, a top 5. And then the Islanders always, like, top 5, drop down to, like, a top 10. The Rangers are, like, I mean, all of a sudden, they were, like, a bottom 5 team. And then, like, halfway through the season, they were just, like, let's score goals. And everyone was just like, oh, yeah, like, it'd be nice if, like, Zibanejad just scored 5 goals this game. They play that game nonstop on NHL Network. I've seen that in, like, the 3 times, like, the past 5 days. They're always just, like, throwing it on. I'm like, bro, I don't want to see this anymore.
Yeah, no, but we got Boston, too. That team is just nuts.
And then, yeah, that's not even in our division. You just, and it's like, now you got...
We're just talking about East, like, that's
insane. Now you got Boston, Tampa, the fucking Lightning, and you're like... Are you fucking kidding me? Like, what do you guys have? Fucking Calgary? Get the fuck out of here.
It was in the first round again, fucking. But, I don't know. I want to get to wide receivers, though. Because wide receivers is going to be, especially with this rookie class, this year, I feel like wide receiver is going to be, like, different this year.
Hold on, I got 3 last questions, some quick ones.
Okay.
Well, Big Ben or Phillip Rivers? Phillip Rivers. Watson or Brady?
This year, Tom Brady.
Sam Darnold or Daniel Jones? I probably wouldn't draft either, but...
I would not draft either. If you are desperate, Sam Darnold.
And then are you Lamar or Patty?
Pat Mahomes.
Pat Mahomes.
Come on. Listen, we don't even speak about Lamar Jackson. That man is crazy good at what he does. Okay? The way he just came into the Ravens, just took Joe Flacco's job, just fuck you, basically.
Literally was like, go fuck yourself.
Yeah, like, you have no shot against me.
Which is tough, because it's like, you're like, oh, like, let's give it to him like an Eli Manning situation.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know, he's done a lot for us. He brought us a chip. Like
Yeah.
we are where we are because of him. And then like Lamar Jackson was just like, no, like get the fuck out of
And
here.
he's 20 times better than Daniel Jones. Like, Daniel Jones, I'm not gonna lie. But Lamar Jackson's just on a different level. His speed, it's unreal. And I feel like with his weapons, I think it was just like a fluke that they lost against the Titans.
That was rough, man. I mean, I kind of saw, because no team, like, has a come up without, like, getting fucking beat like that once, where you're just like, fuck, like,
Yeah.
that's gotta
They
sting.
weren't ready for it.
Yeah.
Like they didn't expect to lose that game.
And they tried to be like, look for that to happen, because the entire time it was like the next game. Like even
Yeah.
during all the fucking press conferences, it was like Mark Ingram and fucking Lamar Jackson,
Uh-huh.
and they were just like, we're focused on the next game, like the next game coming. And I gave them like a lot of credit for that. But then when this came, they eventually were like, probably just, I don't know if they didn't think that it was like gonna be what it was, but like. You literally just cannot fucking stop fucking Derrick Henry from running over
That's
everybody.
different.
It's crazy.
He's so much bigger than everybody on
It's like
everybody.
scary,
It
man.
really is. Like I can't even imagine tackling that man.
And he makes DJ Metcalf, like, I think they're the same height. He makes him look like fucking like some 12th grader, like a
Yeah,
lengthy
and
like
DJ
I'm like, holy
He's
shit.
one of the biggest wide receivers now.
Like ever.
You know?
Holy shit.
Yeah, that guy's different. But like, honestly, I feel like Ryan Tannehill, if he can play like he did last year, Titans can be very good again.
Mhm.
Like, they still have AJ Brown. They still have
Mm.
Derrick Henry, obviously. Like they, I feel like if they do what they did last year, they can figure it out. I don't see them making to the Super Bowl or anything, but
But they could be a
they
successful
can be
team.
Their secondary is really what helps them out. They have a real good secondary on defense, and I feel like they can be very good.
You want to get into wide receivers?
Yeah, wide receivers.
All right, question right off the bat,
Yeah.
because obviously we got to talk about fucking Tom Brady. Who would you rather pick? Who do you think that Tom Brady's going to like more, Mike Evans or Chris Godwin?
I think he's gonna like Chris Godwin in the red zone. Other than like Gronk, because
Yeah.
that's his thing. But like, if you need a receiver to be open in the red zone, that's gonna be Chris. If you are just playing like, if you're at like the 20 and just trying to get downfield type of thing, your best deep threat is Mike Evans. That man's top 5 easy. And I just think he's the type. Mike Evans is the type of person who can get like 12 receptions a game, and it's not even like difficult for him. Like he can get open whenever he wants. He can go downfield. He can run like a 10-yard out, catch the ball, and then run 20 yards. He's that type of player. So like I feel like he's gonna be a big help, just like getting to the red zone type of thing. But definitely to score some. I think Chris Godwin's gonna have more touchdowns than Mike Evans.
Yeah, it'll be interesting because there's literally so many weapons on that team. You got those two guys, and then there was like another. I think there was a third dude who was like fucking around that just like blew up one day. So wouldn't be fucking surprising if all of a sudden that guy made a fucking name for himself with Tom Brady there.
Yeah.
And you got the two fucking wide receivers. The only thing I don't know they have is running backs. I don't know who the fuck their running back is gonna be.
Yeah, they've always had like a rough time at running back. And like that's a problem with Tom Brady too, because he likes to do like the 5-yard dumps and stuff like that. So I mean, if he gets somebody who can just do that, like, and not fumble the ball or just not like drop passes or whatever, I think it's not as big of a deal just because he's so many other weapons. Gronk and the two wideouts. That's why I don't think it's going to be a huge problem for him.
Is there any question like that Michael Thomas is not the number one wide receiver, fantasy wise or regular wise? Like,
he's the best wide receiver. Drew Brees is going to get him the ball 12 times a game.
yeah, I was about to say, he's gonna have like 13 receptions a
I had him
game,
last year,
like 100 something, like barely, like just breaking 100 yards, like, and then you give him a touchdown, and all of a sudden you got like 30 points, and you're like, all right.
He was my team last year. Michael Thomas he's unreal at what he just gets open. He's huge. I think him, D Hop, and Julio. I just feel bad for Julio, man. Like he knows he's the best, and he just gets double teamed, and he has Matt Ryan throwing him the ball. I'm not saying that Matt Ryan's trash.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that Matt Ryan is not the best quarterback in the league.
It's tough having Matt Ryan, like, and he's getting old too. It's like they went to one Super Bowl, and you're like, all right, like,
I'm surprised they even made that Super Bowl.
yeah. I mean, they just fucking totally blew that shit too. So I feel, and I guess if you get like if you're getting that bag from that team, you're like, all right, fuck it, like, whatever.
Yeah.
But that sucks for him, and it's like it's kind of blows his fucking fantasy value too.
Yeah, for sure. Like I'm not gonna pick. He's not the first wide receiver off the board for me.
No.
He can't be.
I usually never draft Julio. Even if Julio's like dropping down, unless I get him at like a fucking bargain, like he's on clearance, I'm like, he has like he's like every week I'm like, does this guy have like turf toe or some shit? Like
Yeah.
there's always like him getting hurt, or and then when he's playing, it's like they just can't get him the ball, and almost like he'll have like dud weeks, and I'm like, if you're my number one wide receiver, you can't give me dud weeks. Like you need to be, unless you're fucking Tyreek Hill, and then you get me like 42 points one week and then 12 the next week. I'll be like, I'll take that. Like, that's all right.
There's some guys though that I think are just gonna be kind of busts, to be honest.
How do you feel about Cooper Kupp?
Cooper Kupp, no.
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 I was looking at him, and he's always got the concussion issue.
That, and I just don't. I don't see him being that good anymore. I don't know why he was good for the season that he was good for. Like, and I know he's really one of the only people on the Rams.
Yeah, they just got rid of Britton, so they have Robert Woods and him.
Right.
So maybe that gets him more balls, but maybe it's harder for him to get a ball. That's it's so weird. Like when you lose a guy,
Yeah.
it's like you really don't know if that's gonna help or hurt the player.
Yeah. I think I had him at end of last year. I think.
Mhm.
And he just wasn't doing anything for me. I kind of just didn't want him anymore.
Yeah.
But like somebody like him, Devontae Parker's a hit or miss.
I was about to say that too. Do you think that fucks up his value? Because you'll start with Fitzgerald, and then you're guessing by the time like week 10 rolls around that they're probably trying to start Tua at that point. Like by the latest, I'm guessing. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just don't think Fitz is the answer to get
Yeah.
the ball.
Mm.
You know. So fantasy wise, I don't know with him.
He was talking mad shit to what's his name, Michael Thomas on Twitter. So we'll see.
Yeah.
And because he was like, bro, I get mad receptions
Oh,
too.
Yeah, he was like, he made like a bet with him that he was gonna get more receptions or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, you dumb.
Yeah, that's tough.
If Michael Thomas has Drew Brees, you have Ryan Fitzpatrick and a rookie that's not gonna start until the midseason. You know, like what are you saying?
And I'm not even that high on Tua. Like watching him with Alabama, like I don't understand how he like even fucking. I feel like when I watched Kellen Moore, I was like, all right, this guy's got like an arm and shit. But I'm watching Tua, and I'm like I don't fucking understand half the shit he does. Like, and he's a smaller guy. Like I personally, yeah, I personally just don't think he's gonna like pan out super great. I don't think that he's gonna be like the worst, but I don't see him being like fucking. I think Joe Burrows is gonna once he leaves the Bengals. Like I think, I think he'll be good.
Yeah, I like Joe Burrow. I'm biased with that.
Yeah.
But I feel like him having
He'll have good weapons.
he has Joe Mixon.
They franchise tagged fucking AJ Green.
Yeah.
So
I
he'll
feel
be
like
back.
having, like an actual like good receiver on
Yeah.
your team just to start it off, I think it would help him.
Because even if you have Tyler Boyd, it's like he's good, but like AJ Green is like, and he's probably kind of hyped to be like, fuck man, like
Yeah,
someone to fucking throw me the ball, like.
Yeah, for sure. Like Tyler Boyd's even good.
Yeah, he's not half bad, especially when AJ Green is out.
Yeah. I think DJ Moore is gonna be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's obviously not gonna be like one of the best, but I feel like, I think he's gonna have like a better year than he has. This is gonna be his like a third season, I think.
Mhm.
And he's like somebody who's like, him and like Marquise Brown, I feel like are gonna like surprise some people.
The only thing that I was thinking about with him was having what's his name come in, Teddy Bridgewater.
Mm.
So just the fact that it's new and like we'll see what the fuck happens with training camp. So that's the only thing that I was like, eh. But then again, I was not like shy to put Mike Evans and Chris Godwin like top 10.
Yeah.
So I was like,
You have to.
I was like, but I guess one guy's Tom Brady and the other guy's Teddy Bridgewater. But at the same time, it's like it's still a. I don't know how big of a concern it is. Like I don't know how much that really matters. Like, even though I worked with like college football a little bit, like I didn't really understand any of the shit that was going on.
Yeah.
Like I was not concerned about like their fucking chemistry. I was concerned about just like getting the fuck out of their way. Like bunch of goons, man.
I'm also not too high on John Brown or Alshon Jeffrey.
We'll see how Alshon Jeffrey does. John Brown is that Hollywood Brown?
No.
Or is that
That's
John
Marquise.
Brown? Oh, okay.
Brown's on
The Bills, right? Oh, the Cardinals?
No, the Bills.
The Bills.
His, I don't even know if it's his brother, to be honest. But he's on the...
Cardinals?
Yeah.
Okay. I think John Brown did well last season, but he'll definitely...
He's a fantasy guy.
Yeah.
He will get you like 30 points, like out of nowhere
Mm-hmm.
type of guy. But like Alshon, bro, I think he's on the outs.
Yeah.
For sure.
I feel bad, too. Because last season, his fucking season was just, like, injuries, and
Yeah.
he just couldn't catch a break. I don't even know how old he is. I think he's on the older side, though.
Mm-hmm.
What happened? Did you have Adam Thielen last year?
I think 2 years ago.
2 years ago?
Yeah.
Because last year, he ended up, like, being pretty low on, like, the fantasy
Yeah,
rankings.
He did get hurt, though.
Yeah. So he missed completely 4 games, and I feel like the rest of the time they probably had him limited.
Yeah.
I don't remember what his injury was,
It was
though.
at the end of the season, too,
Mm.
where they were, like, trying to fight for, like, a spot, and, like, he was always, like, questionable, like, for a game.
Yeah, I remember that.
And I'm like,
That shit
shit.
sucked.
Yeah. But, like, somebody, like Michael Gallup, even though he's got Dak throwing him the ball, I feel like he's really good.
Hmm.
He's a really good wide receiver.
The only reason why, because he finished a lot higher than what I had him at. I had him at 22, and the only reason why I had him so low was because now you have CD Lamb, like another mouth to feed.
Yeah.
Like what the fuck, man?
Yeah.
You got Amari Cooper, and then CD Lamb, and then Michael Gallup, and then Zeke, and then
Yeah. It's
fucking-
a lot of weapons, and if you don't make the playoffs, Cowboys, you guys fucking suck.
it's. I hope they trade for fucking Jamal. I don't understand the Jamal Adams
Who
situation.
wants to go to Dallas?
Like, I just really don't understand. Like, at one hand, I understand that you're the best player on our team by a long shot, and you want to get paid. But I don't understand the fact that you still have 2 years left on your contract. If you're in any other sport, you're not getting paid.
No, but he just hates Adam Gase.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck his problem is, but I mean,
Knows he's not gonna win. You know, why? Like that's the thing. I have a love-hate relationship with like players, like either not playing at all, like holding out basically, or just being like a prima donna about a situation.
I'd rather
know
you
what I'm
hold out than be a bitch about it.
saying? Like what Gronk did, I kind of dislike. I'm not gonna lie. To
Like
you.
retiring and then just
Like,
coming back.
Right. Because, like, I feel like him and Tom Brady knew what they were going to do for a while. I think it came out, like, Tom Brady knew, like, going into last season that he was not going to play in New England anymore. And he already was talking to, like, Bruce Arians and everything like that. Because, like, they're friends.
Yeah.
Just on the outside. And I it's not out in the media or whatever, but I know for a fact that Tom Brady was just like, if you want to retire, Gronk, you're coming back. We're going to the Bucks. Like, this is, like, all set and done type of thing. And I don't like how that's kind of, like, allowed. Not that it's kind of, like, allowed, but New England basically just, like, was just like, okay, and, like, got dog shit for him.
Literally got
because
dog
he had
shit.
to get traded.
Yeah.
Because he was still in a contract, even though he was basically property of the New England Patriots. So he had to get out of there by a trade. And even though he's 30, he's still one of the best tight ends in the game.
Literally.
And you get nothing, like absolutely nothing.
I couldn't even tell you what they
that?
got back.
No, I can't even.
Couldn't even tell you.
I couldn't.
I don't know what the fuck they'd give in the first place.
Right. Like I feel like that's kind of like sketchy. You know, it's sus.
Yeah.
You know, like how are you just gonna be like, all right, like I don't want to play anymore, and knowing in the back of your mind, like everybody knows that you can still play, you're just being a pussy about it, and because like, you know that Tom's gonna leave, and you don't want to be on a team with a rookie quarterback or like a quarterback that's a second string basically.
Yeah.
And like, all right, I'm gonna retire and get on a better team the next year. Like that's kind of just like scummy.
I don't blame him
I don't
for
blame him.
retiring at least, because he was fucked up with injuries.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
so taking the year off was probably his best bet. Like in general, he was probably just like, because you see him like every fucking like route he's running, he's got like a fucking bionic arm on with like two like fucking metal knees and shit, and I'm
Yeah.
like, fuck man, like what the fuck isn't wrong with this dude? And then it's like every off season he's probably just fucking like tired of having surgeries and shit.
Yeah.
And he probably just got paid like a fat bag or some shit like that. And I know that he went on and did like shit with like CBD and shit like that. And like
he wrestled.
he
He was on WWE. People. Okay? This man didn't give a shit. He is perfectly healthy. I don't give a shit how many surgeries this man gets. He's fine. Okay? He can still play football. He can still be an elite tight end. For you to do what you did just to retire, just to get on a different team.
just looks weird.
Fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Okay? Fuck you. And I hope you get hurt. That's fucked up. But I hope you don't do well.
I definitely hope they don't do well. Fuck them. I have a friend who's a Tampa Bay fan too, so I have even more reason to just be like, yo, go fuck yourself.
Yeah.
Like, I hope you guys don't do
Get
dog shit. But it's weird, going back to Jamal Adams, that he, like, now of all times, like, the season that they have, like, the first season where the fucking division is wide open.
Yeah.
It's probably gonna go Bills, but like, who really fucking knows? Like,
Right.
Miami, not impressive. Fucking, you still have Bill Belichick in fucking New England, but this is the first season where you have like, you're hopefully not gonna have fucking Sam Darnold out half the season with mono.
Yeah.
You're gonna have an actual, maybe not an actual offensive line, but you'll have actual offensive linemen playing fucking like O-line. So you'll hopefully be able to like kind of fucking run the ball too. And their defense is still like an NFL defense. It's like not fucking little league anymore. And now like this is the time where you're like, all right, like looks like we're kind of getting our shit together. Like, get me the fuck out of here. It's like, bro, come on. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, even if he stayed though, like for the 2-year contract, like the rest of it, he was gonna leave.
He's probably gonna leave. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd rather trade him now than have him leave.
Yeah.
But I would like, I'm so fucking confused. Like, does he want to get paid
Listen, he's
past?
gonna get paid either way.
Yeah.
He's one of the best safeties in the league. Like top 2.
But does he want his payment, like, he wants to sign a contract now that overrides his next 2 years? Or is it like an extension onto the next 2 years? That's what I'm confused about.
Yeah.
Because is he just trying to sign it just to get guaranteed money and then the extension? Or is he trying to be like, yo, fuck that rookie
No,
contract?
he's definitely he's gonna stay on. I think he's gonna stay on it, and then just get a fat bag when it's done. Like they're gonna. I think he's gonna after this season. They're just gonna sign him to whoever he goes to.
Yeah.
They're just gonna sign him to a fat contract. You know, like just play whatever. I think he just wants out of New York or New Jersey, basically.
Yeah.
He just wants out. He's like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Can't blame
I'll
him.
Play one more, no, absolutely not. He's like, I'll play one more year under this contract, but I'm obviously going to be a beast, and I'm obviously going to help your team wherever he is.
Ship him to fucking Cleveland, man. Like,
Imagine.
I would ship him
Yo,
to...
that would be LSU. That entire team is just LSU.
I would
okay,
ship him to the biggest fucking dog shit in the...
Imagine.
I would send him to, like, the fucking Edmonton fucking Oilers, man. Like, I would send him to the biggest fucking coldest hunk of shit. I'd be like, fuck you, man. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. But he made his demands.
Yeah.
The first team is Cowboys, and then I know the 49ers are on there.
It's literally like one team and then 7 teams that are making the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
It's a bunch of good teams. And I feel like it's not just him that's done it, though. It's like there's other players out there that give like list of demands, even like in the NBA and like other sports, they give a list of demands of teams, and you're just like, all of these teams are playoff contenders. Like, I know what you're trying to do.
Yeah, you're just trying to get on a winning team.
Right. And like I get it. Like you want to win, obviously, but like it's a business too. Like it just doesn't work like that.
Yeah.
Like if they want to ship you to fucking wherever, like bumblefuck, they're gonna do it.
If they want to send your ass to Nebraska, like, you're going. Like,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
it. Have fun.
Yeah, you can't get what you want every time, but I feel like, I don't know. That's what I'm confused about too. Like owners are just like, oh okay, let's just send them to the best fucking team, and it doesn't help their cause because they know they're not gonna win because
Yeah.
if you ship them to the best team, they're obviously gonna win. Like what are you thinking as an owner? Like I don't get it sometimes. I guess because I'm not like in
The rooms and
industry
shit,
like,
yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Like I don't understand like everything that they do, but like on the outside looking in, you're just like, why did you just do that? You just sent one of the best position players to one of the best teams, and obviously they're gonna win. Like, what did that do for you?
Yeah. Unless you're getting back something ridiculous.
Yeah, you have to get draft picks. You have to get something.
Yeah.
You know?
Which is like, it just, oh my god, man. It like hurts my brain to even think like what is like, what are they trying to, and it's just so poorly like handled by the GM too, Joe Douglas. It's just so poorly handled by him too. The fact that he's like, oh yeah, like, I fucking love you, like, you're a man, and then all of a sudden he's like, alright, cool, and then he'll get a call and it's like, oh, you want Jamal Adams, like, I'm not gonna hang up the phone, but like, you know, you can say whatever you want. Like, bro, like, if you're gonna do something, at least like, just either stick with it or don't fucking tell anyone. Like, why are like, it's not fucking 10th grade gossip, like fucking timeout thing, whatever the fuck. What's the name of that class where it's like you had a break, like study hall? Study hall. It's not like fucking. You're not a fucking 10th grade girl in study hall. Like, why are you gossiping about, like, oh, you know who just called me today? The Cowboys. Oh my god, what do the Cowboys want? They wanted Jamal Adams. And then, now the whole fucking world knows that the fucking Cowboys want Jamal Adams. And you picked up the phone, and Jamal Adams is like, bro, what the fuck? It's like, why are you just not, like, a professional organization? Like, how did you get to this point?
Yeah.
It just amazes me.
And it when it gets to that point, it like hurts like your like as a GM, like it hurts your fan base. Like you should be like, yo, like what are you doing like to us? Like like we're trying to support you as much as we can, but there's only so much we can take.
Literally.
You're gonna be BSing the entire time and not putting us in a position to win and shit like that. I'm not gonna like you anymore.
Yeah.
You're really pissing me off.
Like, I think they did well with their draft and shit like that.
Yeah.
So, I'm not fucking super mad at, like, him right now. And I also don't think that Jamal Adams, like, I think there's blame on both sides. Like, you shouldn't be going off on a contract that you're making. I think he's making, like, $11 million in the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand. Even though more than half of that's probably being taken away by taxes, because New Jersey and New York, like, wherever he's filing that shit, like, he's probably only getting $5 million, like, out of that. So I understand you being like, I want this guaranteed money, but at the same time, it's like, you also signed that contract, but then you could be like, you know, I'm risking my fucking livelihood over this shit, like concussion, CTE and shit. And there are like so many different like flip-flopping sides, but it's like at the end of the day, like, just fucking, I don't want to see you fucking tweeting back to Marcus May like, bro, it's been great fucking hanging out with you, man. Like, can't wait to see you on the flip side. Like, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I totally get it. I totally get it.
Back to wide receivers, though. You think D-Hop gets better or worse being on Arizona?
It's hard to tell.
Right.
The reason why it's hard to tell is because Deshaun Watson was in the game. He developed, like, he obviously has still, like, more work to do. I feel like he can get better. But, like, he was already, like, in, like, a place where he had a connection with D-Hop, and, like, it was crazy. Like, they were doing crazy work together. And you just get put, like, with the rookie, basically, second-year guy.
Yeah.
So there's definitely going to be some like, learning experience for Kyler and D-Hop. But having Larry Fitz there, and basically Larry Fitz showing D-Hop what he can do with Kyler in his rookie season, I think will help D-Hop even more. So I think first year, I don't think he's going to be better, but I don't think he's going to be worse. I think he's just going to, like, stay the same, basically. But next year, I think he can be better than what he's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
Just because of
that offense is crazy, too.
Yeah, for sure. If they keep, like, weapons like Kirk, if he gets better, you know what I'm saying? Like, it won't put all the attention on D Hop and like,
Yeah.
get him double coverage just like Julio Jones is dealing with. You know, like if you have other weapons, that's the shit with the Falcons. Like Calvin Ridley, like he's good, but he's not. But he's not great to the point where it gets. It's like a threat to not double team Julio Jones most of the game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like if it gets to the point, if he like if somebody like Calvin Ridley gets better, that's where I can feel like the Falcons can be a little bit better and Julio Jones can be a little bit better. It's like the same situation with that though. Like if you have a good counterpart getting the ball all the time, they're obviously gonna have to sweep the double team, and you're gonna get your one-on-one. And you can obviously get the ball more, but it's gonna take some time. It's definitely gonna take like a season for him to figure that out, and like that entire team's gonna have to get like a little bit better. I can see them, the Cardinals in general, going 9-7,
I was gonna say about 8-8.
8-8, 9-7.
I want to see how Drake does this upcoming season.
I think he's good.
Because he went like off. Like once he got traded, he was just going off, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
I think Dolphins are just trash
Yeah.
system all around.
Well, they were tanking. Like
Yeah,
I
that's
think
what I'm
I don't know if they were tanking like for real tanking, or if they were just tanking and everyone was just like, this is just how it is. Like we just fucking blow.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
apparently they're like everyone in like the sports media is saying like whoever the head coach is, they're like, oh, he's building a great brand and shit
No,
like that. Like
he's actually a good head coach.
I'll take it like if for their word, but I'm like if you go fucking 2 wins in a season, like I don't know how great of a head coach you are, but
No, I get it.
I would like to see them kind of level up a little bit this year.
Yeah, I feel like once Tua gets his shot, I know, like you're like being a Batman fan, like you watch Tua and shit like that, but I feel like Tua can be something not right out the gate crazy good, but I feel like he can develop into like a quarterback that can run a franchise and like get him to where they kind of need to go.
Yeah.
Better than 2 wins. Basically.
Yeah, like I see him being better than like a Ryan Tannehill, like type of thing. Like I think he can. So I think he can do better than that. And right now Ryan Tannehill seems like he can, like support a franchise like as a consistent like guy. So I think that's like a floor for him right around there. I'm hoping at least like.
And like I feel bad because like his ceiling is so high. On Alabama. And
Yeah.
Winning a national championship. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so high, so if he doesn't live up to what everybody thinks that it should be, it's gonna suck for him, and that happens with a few players. Like Joe Burrow's gonna deal with that too, even though he's on the fucking Bengals.
I wonder why they got rid of Andy Dalton. I feel like that, like signing him on a cheap 1-year contract, like, and then having, what's his name, Joe Burrows. Even if Joe Burrows is starting or some shit,
Yeah,
I feel like that's a big help, like, to have that veteran quarterback like behind you.
I think so too.
Mhm.
I just think the Bengals franchise is
Just a shit
shambles.
show, yeah.
You had I forget his name, the head coach, and he's been a head coach for that team for 16 years. Marvin Lewis. There he
Yeah,
is.
that guy's a bum.
How you gonna?
That
No.
guy.
Yeah, he's a bum, but the GM fired that man.
Yeah,
Why
for real.
did it take that long? He was a head coach for so fucking long, and you guys were bad for that long of time. What are you doing? You see teams out there having a coach for 1-2 years, getting the fucking rid of him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and they're better than the Bengals in those teams. And you have Marvin Lewis being ass, getting no wins basically, and you're gonna keep him season after season. What are you doing?
Whoever the guy was before the Lions, Matt Patricia guy, I forgot who that guy was.
It starts with an S. His last name starts with an S.
I couldn't
Schmidt or
even,
something like that.
some shit like that.
Schwan or
But
whatever.
he went like fucking 7-9 or some shit, and they
Yeah.
were like, "Get the fuck out of here."
Yeah.
Brought in Matt Patricia, went 4-12, and they're like, "That's right." Like this is,
Matt Patricia's a beast.
and I was like, "He's good on like." I mean, I think he brings. If the Lions don't do shit this year, like I think you kind of have to move on because it's
Yeah.
like there's only so long you can like kind of keep losing and not look like the Bengals.
Yeah.
But I think he comes from a good like echelons from like the Patriots and like
Yeah.
being with Bill
He's
Belichick
really
and bringing
good.
that shit.
He's a defensive coordinator.
Yeah,
Yeah. I feel like if it doesn't work out for him here though,
he'll still have an NFL job.
he'll
Yeah,
have an NFL job, but might not be head coach.
Yeah.
Might have to go back to
but I personally like him, but
Yeah, that's what
there's only so much you can do in Detroit too. Like, who wants to go to Detroit?
Yeah.
Like I would never. Like, I even like the cold too. You're not catching me dead in Detroit. Like, get the fuck out of here.
No. I mean, their fan base is pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
so like you'll have the fans, but it's like the Detroit Lions just in general. Like you're putting in a Bugatti in a Section 8 housing type of thing. They had Calvin Johnson. On
Oh
the
my
team.
God.
Everybody else was fucking.
Retires early.
You know.
You had
Like-
fucking Barry Sanders retires early. Like,
Yeah,
everyone
yeah.
just gets there and they're like, all right, just let me make this fat bag. And then they're, all of a sudden they're like, endorsements. Like, why the fuck am I still doing this shit? Like,
Yeah, that's just the place to go to die at this point. You know, they're not gonna win for a while. Detroit's not gonna win for a while. I'm sorry.
no. And fuck them too. Fucking.
No. I see that you put OBJ and Landry 24-25.
I have a question. Who are you taking, OBJ or Jarvis Landry?
I don't know, man. LSU probably both of them.
Yeah. Because OBJ has not done shit since getting shipped off to Cleveland.
I think he'll have a better season.
And I think Jarvis Landry has been pretty consistent since he's been to.
Yeah. I feel like OBJ is gonna figure it out.
Yeah.
I want to talk about the Browns though. Baker Mayfield.
Do you even draft Baker Mayfield?
I don't draft Baker.
I don't draft Baker.
Do I think he's gonna do better than he did last year? I do. I have one more season of trust in this man.
I don't think I ever had trust.
No, I'm gonna trust him. I'm gonna trust him just because of the weapons that you actually have. You have OBJ.
It's crazy.
You have Nick
Oh
Chubb.
my God.
You have Myles Garrett on the defensive end. Like your team is crazy.
Do they have Austin Hooper now? Or they have? Yeah, I think they have Austin
Do
Hooper.
they? That would be crazy.
Because they have Njoku,
They do.
and then they traded.
He's good, though.
He's good, and then hold on, because I know it was either they got OJ Howard or they got Austin Hooper.
Austin Hooper is good.
Signed him to a 4-year deal,
If you fuck up Baker Mayfield, you're the issue.
and
You're
then
gonna be Johnny Manziel. Okay?
oh, without a doubt,
You're
like
gonna, after the season, if you are if you don't go at least 9-7, you're Johnny Manziel. You're done. I'm sorry, but you're done. What else do you need? What else do you need?
and then they also will have a full season of Kareem Hunt. Like
Baker Mayfield, listen. If you're listening, you have to figure it out. Okay, the Chiefs don't give a shit about Kareem Hunt. Okay, that's why they got rid of him. They now have Clyde Edwards-Helaire. That man is different. They have Damian Williams. LSU Pride. Different. Okay? If you don't do well with OBJ, Landry, Nick Chubb, and Kareem Hunt, and Austin Hooper, it's over for you, my friend. There's nothing that you can come back from.
literally nothing else. It's like I feel like I could honestly throw the ball in that offense and at least end up with Jameis Winston like stats. At least Jameis Winston like stats. And that at least won't get me thrown out of the NFL like Baker probably would be. Baker would probably be chipping his ass to the CFL. Like at least
Yeah.
I could go into that offense, throw like fucking 29 touchdowns, maybe like 42 interceptions, and just find a backup job and then be like the next Alex Moran, like just chilling in the back. So you're taking OBJ over Landry?
Yeah.
That's a tough
I like
one.
them both. I love them both.
I like them both too.
But, like, I don't know.
Just not with Baker Mayfield.
Right.
Something interesting to me is going to be Keenan Allen this season. Because you lose Phillip Rivers, you bring in Tyrod Taylor.
Yeah.
I haven't seen Tyrod Taylor play since like 2016.
Either way.
I've been hearing that he's a fucking class act, a good worker and shit like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
I don't, you know, there's a reason why you weren't starting for the past 3 seasons though. Like I don't know what the fuck to expect
I
from
don't
him.
know. Did he ever get shipped off from the Bills to somewhere else and now he's on the Chargers, or was he just sitting with the Bills?
I don't fucking know. Let's see.
Because honestly, like, he had a few good games with the Bills when they were ass.
Yeah, he was like good enough that he obviously has a job somewhere else, but it said he started with Baltimore for fucking 4 seasons. from 22 to 25. And then he went to Buffalo, played 14 games, 15 games, 15 games. Went to Cleveland last year.
Did he?
Yeah. Played 4 games because Baker Mayfield sucks.
Right.
And now he's going to the Chargers. Or he might have already been in the Chargers. I don't know. It says that he had played in 8 games, started in none. Had 4 completions. I probably just like,
Probably
I don't know. I had no idea that he was even there though.
Yeah. I don't know. But they have, they got Herbert in the draft, did they?
Yeah, they have Herbert in the draft. I don't know if
Listen,
you
he was good.
start with
He
him.
was good.
Where was he? Oregon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was good. But you obviously have to start with Tyrod Taylor.
Mhm.
You got it.
Yeah.
You know?
You think Marcus Mariota starts this season? He went to the Raiders.
No.
No.
But I don't like Derek Carr either.
Yeah.
Even they got Henry Ruggs in the draft.
Mm.
Huge. But Derek Carr's still trash. You can't change my mind about that.
Henry
And
Ruggs looked sick when
Yeah,
I was
no
watching
shit.
him play. I was like, holy
Yeah.
fuck.
Somebody you didn't put on your tight end list is Waller on the Raiders.
Word?
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch out for him.
Mm-hmm.
For real. I had him last year. He's good. He's an actual good tight end, and he helped Derek Carr not be as ass as he could have been. You know? So having him and Ruggs might help him out a little bit. I just don't like Derek Carr in general.
Mm.
I think Derek Carr is garbage. He went to Fresno State. Okay?
He's not the answer, that's for sure. He wasn't a bad, like, intermediate, like, we just need someone to play for a little bit
Yeah.
and not look like a fucking
He
joke.
had that one season.
Yeah. Which I think got him paid.
Yeah.
Remember when Matt Flynn got paid? Oh my god, bro. Literally had like one game with 6 touchdowns and then gets paid like $45 million by the fucking Seahawks.
He rode high on that shit.
And then literally made like nothing like ever again. And then
Yeah.
I don't even think he ended up like finishing that contract because I think Russell Wilson was just like, yeah.
Blew up, yeah.
Who do you think does better, Keenan Allen or T.Y. Hilton?
Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen? I think so
I
too.
don't care who's throwing him the ball. He's good. He's good. Having Eckler too.
Him, I had him last season off the draft, and I was like, holy fuck.
Yeah.
I was like, this guy, because it was always like Melvin Gordon, and then like, throw a couple passes to Austin Eckler. And I was like, all right. And then they finally gave him like the reins, because obviously Melvin Gordon never showed up.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, fuck.
Melvin Gordon went to the Broncos.
The Broncos. I want to see how that goes.
Right? I feel like, listen.
Because it's him and that other guy.
Drew Lock? Drew Lock on the Broncos? Quarterback? I like him.
Yeah.
I do. I really do. It's weird to say. It's really weird to say. But he showed up last season. when
He did show
needed
up
to,
last season.
You know? I like him. Having Melvin Gordon, I think, will help him a lot. They drafted somebody. Who did they draft? A wideout.
I don't know. The only thing that sucks about this is that they don't have who they drafted.
I forget who the Broncos drafted, but it was a really good pick.
Let's see.
And I feel like Drew Lock can really not blow up. I'm not gonna say blow up, but I'm gonna say
He had a good season last year, though.
Yeah.
And he looks promising. Like, he looks
Yeah.
more promising than Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
Jerry Jeudy.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's pretty fucking crazy. That's a pretty nice
what I'm
pick.
saying. They drafted Jerry Jeudy.
Arguably, he seems to be, like, the most safe pick out of the entire...
For sure, he's the best route runner in the draft.
And then who was... It was him and then the other. CeeDee Lamb was the second guy who had, like, a
Yeah, it was
bigger boom and bust.
him, Ruggs, CeeDee Lamb, Justin Jefferson, Brandon Ayuk. This wide receiver draft class was crazy.
It was crazy.
Let me tell you.
I had, I don't even know. I'm going to butcher all their names, but Reagor, REA, that guy. I had because he went to Philadelphia, and automatically you're number 1 wide receiver in Philadelphia. Like,
Nelson Aguilar's ass.
I think he might have left. He might have gone somewhere else. But not like it matters, yeah. So I had him being like one of the better guys because I think that he'll have a good like inflow of shit like
Yeah.
that. I'll probably bump Jerry Jeudy up because I think Jerry Jeudy's gonna have because I really don't know another wide receiver on the Denver Broncos. Emmanuel Sanders, is he still there?
Yeah, he's still.
He's still there. So at least they'll have someone else. C.D. Lamb, I like.
No.
No.
What am I saying? Emmanuel Sanders went to the 49ers last year.
Right.
From there, we traded him somewhere. We didn't trade him. We gave him up. I forget where he went though.
Let's see.
I wish we didn't trade him. I loved Emmanuel Sanders. I fucking loved him. Like, I'm thanking God that we got Brandon Ayuk in the draft because he's going to replace him. But I loved Emmanuel Sanders, man.
It doesn't look like he's anywhere right now. Oh no, he's on Saints.
Right.
Interesting.
Right. I remember. That's good for them.
Who the fuck?
And if Jimmy G made that fucking pass to Emmanuel Sanders, the 49ers would have won the Super Bowl last year.
Literally would have
Okay?
won.
Everybody listen to that right now. They would have won the Super Bowl if he called that, if he made that pass. And I would have been going nuts.
Get the fuck out of here. I don't fucking know who that guy is. Is this guy 19 years old? Oh, no, that's his position number. I was about to say, this guy's 19 years old in the NFL. You better put on some fucking weight. I have no idea who that is. No idea who that is. So it seems like they have a bunch of dudes who... Jerry Jeudy, I know who that is.
Just a bunch of random.
Literally just looks like a bunch of fucking random ass dudes.
Right.
So that'll be tough for Jerry Jeudy. But at least they have, like some other... Oh, Cortland Sutton.
Cortland Sutton.
There we go.
Right.
So not superb, but, you know, you have a guy who's at least like an NFL caliber fucking guy.
Yeah.
And
The Broncos do pretty well.
their defense is still pretty good.
Yeah, their defense is still pretty good.
As long as you have, what's his name? Fucking, the fuck is that guy's name? On the defense. For the Broncos. Like number... yeah. I just saw his name too. Von Miller. There we go. Oh no, he's a linebacker though.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's beast.
I want to see how Mims does. He'll probably
I
suck,
like Mims.
but
No, I really do.
just knowing the Jets, he'll probably get like
Right. But still.
hurt first day. He looked a lot like Ruggs when I was watching like his things. Like it was a lot of like crossovers, catch the ball and just be fucking out. And he looked elusive, like how CeeDee Lamb can kind of move too. So it seemed like he could do a couple of different things. So I was like, all right, like at least you have a guy who can come in because we have like Rashad Perriman, like
Yeah.
that's our number one wide receiver right now. That's fucking disgusting. And then we signed what's his name to like a huge fucking, not a huge but a big contract. Quincy Enunwa. He'll probably never play another day in the NFL ever again. So he's gone. We didn't want to pay fucking what's his name? Fucking yeah. Robbie Anderson. We didn't want to play Anderson. We don't want to pay him $10 million a year.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh yeah, instead of like having an offense. And then fucking Le'Veon Bell's not gonna do jack shit. I don't even know.
You don't think so?
No.
You didn't even. Did you even?
I have him at like 24. I think. Oh no, I have him at 16.
Okay.
Because I have him. I gotta put him above guys like fucking Josh Jacobs. I dropped down a little bit just because I don't trust the
Yeah,
Raiders.
I get it.
And I'm
I
like,
Josh Jacobs, though.
I like him. If he was on like literally any other team, I would be like, or not any other team, but if he was on a majority of other teams, I'd like him a lot more.
Mhm.
But being on the Raiders, for some reason, I just can't trust that.
Yeah.
But I had to put him above guys like Chris Carson because he split a decent amount with Penny. I don't know how that'll go this season though. I had to put him over Singletary. James Conner, I just don't trust him to stay healthy and shit like that.
I had him last year. I fucking hated everything about him.
But those dudes, I had to put him above because I was like, fuck those guys. But I just don't. I don't know. I don't know how the fuck to feel about Le'Veon Bell anymore.
Mhm.
I think that if he was on any other team with like relevant fucking players,
Yeah.
I would be like,
As long
yeah,
as he
sure.
wanted to come.
And I think he literally only came to not get paid as much, but get more guaranteed money,
Yeah.
which is wild. Like,
I
to
feel like it's weird too because he was chasing a title with the Steelers because
Mm.
they were contenders.
yeah,
And then just to be like, nah, I'm good. I just want the money. You know, like what are you doing? What are you doing?
especially to come and know to a place like this and know that you're not gonna get jack shit out of,
Good. How are you?
and you know that you're not gonna get jack shit out of the offensive line.
Yeah.
So it's like.
I don't know.
Like if I was a running back, I wouldn't be like, all right, let's go to like the Miami Dolphins. Like, get the fuck out of here, man. I'd rather get paid less, but know like I could still produce and shit like that.
Yeah.
But he's
Real good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Good.
but he's out here like making music videos and shit. Le'Veon Bell doesn't give a
Yeah, I
fuck
think-
right
I think
now.
he's just
Doesn't give a
gonna-
fuck.
He did what he wanted to do. It's over for him.
He's leaving, like for sure. I think we should trade him over Jamal Adams. I think Le'Veon
Yeah.
Bell needs to go because Aaron. I think if we had any other fucking head coach, he'd be able to use him. But Adam Gase doesn't even want to use fucking Le'Veon Bell.
Yeah.
He's gonna be Frank Gore is gonna be our number one fucking running back this season.
Love the guy. You put a lot of like guys in the other category, which is surprising.
Philip Lindsay, I was like 50-50
I don't
about.
like Phil Lindsay.
He catches the ball. So in PPR,
I
like
don't even like him. Maybe
he-
in that sense.
really.
Yeah, I don't.
I mean, I usually try to not have him on my team because
Right.
it's like you really don't know what the fuck you're gonna get out of him. But especially now that he's not the best, because I think it was him and someone else, but he was like more or less the better running back up until like I think the halfway through last season, and then the other guys started being like, all right, you're kind of shitty, like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
And now you bring in Melvin Gordon, and it's like you're obviously the number 2. So that's why I threw him in the other. Dame Williams was like not fantastic last season because you had. Yeah, because I think the Clyde Edwards, I could have pushed him up a little bit.
Yeah, I think he'll do better than like Montgomery.
Because they'll probably start with him instead of Dame Williams.
Yeah, they'll definitely get a share of reps though.
Yeah,
I feel like having them as a dual threat is really good.
their backfield last year was crazy. They literally had like 3 running backs.
Yeah.
I was like,
I like Carry On.
you like Carry
I
On?
do.
I fucking hated having Carry On last season. It sucked. I was like, bro, it's not that he's like not talented. It's just like they just didn't use him. I'm watching him. I'm looking at him stand on the fucking sideline, and I'm like, bro, whoever is on the field right now, you could probably do their position better than them, regardless of the position. Like regardless of the position, the only guy who you can't probably do better than is fucking Kenny Galladay and Matt Stafford.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I do.
I like him about as much as I like James Conner, to be honest.
Facts.
Like
I'll go with that.
like
I'll put him in that category.
it's not that much better than that, and it's not like that's a
He
great
He
category.
has more potential to blow up than James Conner does.
Yeah.
You know, Darius guys, he needs to figure himself out and stop getting hurt,
Yeah.
and then we'll judge him.
Do you think that, because he's still on the Redskins, right? Do you
Yeah.
think the Redskins should change their fucking names?
No,
I don't think so either.
and I'm not trying to be like all political about
Yeah.
it. I'm just saying that like I feel like I saw a story where like Native Americans didn't even care.
They probably don't. They're playing like 100-man lacrosse, like back in the fucking 1600s. Like,
Right?
they don't give a fuck about football. And it's like,
Like even like I feel like there's more like white people mad about the name than there are Native Americans mad about the name.
I kind of feel like it's almost the same thing as like, I mean, it's different because it's like a derogatory, it's like Redskin.
Yeah.
So it's a little like touchy, but at the same time, it's almost like what they just did with Aunt Jemima, like taking her off of like. It's like I get like that it's the whole whatever backstory you want to fucking throw behind it. Like that probably does. It's probably not even real in the fucking first place, but it's like you have like a minority position that like is like platforming this entire like franchise or entire company. And it's like, doesn't that only like give justice to that community and bring out awareness to them in general, even if it's like not in the fucking grandest of sense,
Right.
but you
It's
still
still in
keep
a
them.
derogatory name sense. I get what you're saying.
Yeah,
I do. I don't want to like say a lot on it just because I'm not native.
it's like not our place to even speak
Right,
about
right,
it.
right. So like I don't know. I don't. Obviously, I don't have an issue with it because I'm
Yeah.
white, but I feel like I saw a story saying that they don't care.
I would love if someone named, if they were like, yo, fuck the White Sox, we're the Caucasians. I'd be like, yo, that's my fucking team. Like, I'm fucking season tickets right now. Don't even live in the same state. Like, I'm going to every game.
Oh, I'm dead. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. If you're gonna do that? If you're gonna do that, what are you gonna do? Change Atlanta Braves? Is that what we're gonna do?
Yeah, probably not. Probably
Right?
the
Like,
the Braves at least are like a little bit like more like not as deep cutthroat to like the
Right.
point as it is, but it's like
it's still that sense though.
yeah.
You know.
It's almost the same feeling as like tearing down like these monuments and shit. It's like this shit came like so long ago and it's like still here. It's like you want to change it because it's like quote unquote not right.
Yeah.
It's like as
But I
as
feel
whoever
like the
wants to.
monuments more. I don't want to get like too political about it.
Yeah.
I'm just saying like I feel like the monuments were like more of a. I get why you're doing that.
Yeah.
And not changing the meaning.
And it's totally different, like a $3,000 monument compared to like a $300 million football team.
Yeah.
It's like not even close in comparison of like what is going on. But also, if you're the owner, you own that shit, and like
Yeah.
sucks. Like
It would. I feel like it would have to be like. There's no sports team out there that is. But I would feel like for it to be, for a name to be changed, your name would have to be like really fucked up.
yeah,
Like really, like bad.
I
And,
couldn't.
like there's no way that we even allowed it in the first place. So I feel like the way everything, I just feel like the way everything is now, I think, what's the point of changing it? You know what I'm saying? Like what are you gonna do?
I would feel like I don't know if I would probably promote it just because I hate their logo. But if like the Pacific Islanders, like Hawaiian people and like Filipino people were like the fucking New York Islanders, man. Are you fucking kidding me? The Islanders? Who the fuck do you think? Like, bro, I would be like, get the fuck. It's not even the
Yeah.
same type of sense, but I'd be like, get shut the fuck up.
Yeah,
Like, if I was a
yeah.
fan of that team, I'd be like, you don't even watch the games. Like, you're not even the same fucking realm as this shit.
Right.
Like, so I don't fucking care what your opinion is.
I just find it so crazy how the Redskins and they're in Washington D.C. You know, like what is the irony with that? You know, what I'm saying? Like what is going on? But no, that's just funny.
Who would you rather? I want to see what Melvin Gordon does this year, but who are you picking? Austin Eckler or Melvin Gordon?
Eckler.
Eckler?
Yeah.
I feel like Eckler last season really showed the fuck up.
Yeah.
I was like, holy fuck, man.
Yeah, he definitely like was just like, this is, I need to do this.
Yeah.
You know, like he was the real only option on that team, running back position.
Which hurt fucking Melvin Gordon.
Yeah.
If they didn't have Austin Eckler and Melvin Gordon was holding out, by that fourth game, he would have gotten a fat contract.
Yeah, for sure.
Would have gotten a fat contract.
For sure.
But if no one was missing fucking Melvin Gordon at that time, and then when he
Right.
came back, they were like,
Don't
what?
really
Like
need him.
they were like, you can just sit out. Like you'll come in for like the extra. You'll be like the third down back. Like just
Yeah.
come in and just fucking ground and pound or some shit.
Yeah.
So no one touches Christian McCaffrey.
No, not even close.
So are you picking Zeke or Saquon?
Zeke. I'm still gonna give Zeke the upper hand.
I like Zeke just because I feel more confident, which is weird to say. I feel more confident in the Dallas Cowboys than I do the New York Giants, especially from like a fantasy production. Because the Giants, you could feel confident about them going 9-7, winning their division, and then making it to Super Bowl, like type of shit. But I can't feel comfortable about the Giants like going 12-4. Like I would feel way more confident about Dallas like kicking ass this year and Zeke like leading the charge than I would about the Giants, like
Yeah.
even coming close to winning division, and Saquon. He'll do better because I feel bad because he had that high ankle sprain last season,
Yeah.
and it was like, what are you gonna do?
I don't know too. I mean, everybody always talks about the Cowboys' offensive line too.
Mm.
Like it's still good,
Yeah.
but it's not as good as it was.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? But I still feel like Saquon's dealing with fucking nobody in front of him. It's fucking trash cans in 5 rows in front of him. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing that he can do about it. So in that sense, I feel bad for the guy, but Zeke is gonna have a better season than you.
You know what's crazy? Eric Flowers. Did you see the contract he got this season?
No.
He is an absolute fucking garbage can on the field. Like he is a cone. He
Right.
got paid 3 years, $30 million by the Miami Dolphins.
See, it's by the Miami Dolphins, which is, I'm not surprised because it's so stupid.
Literally so stupid. I mean I
Why did
don't.
they give Tua? Oh no, I think that's why they did it, because Tua is a lefty, and Eric Flowers is a left tackle, so he's not protecting nobody's blind side.
True. He's just got to stand there.
You just gotta make sure, and if Tua is in trouble, which he guaranteed will be, because Eric Flowers is nothing.
Trash.
Tua's gonna get out of the way because he'll see it coming. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
So I think that's why they did it.
He got roasted by the New York sports media, man.
Bro, I don't. How do you get $30 million?
Whoever his agent is, man, needs to like bargain for me too. I need that guy. I need that guy on my fucking squad.
That's crazy.
They got Jordan Howard though too, Miami.
Good.
I don't know how the fuck he's gonna. I mean, he's a good dude to have as like a flex position if you got someone on like a bye, because he could put in like 3 touchdowns one day, but he's not like a fucking Derrick Henry. Do you think Derrick Henry's gonna do the same shit he did last season?
No, but he's still gonna be really good.
Bro, his season last was.
How can you go up from there? If you go up from there, that's insane. That's insane.
He had like one of the craziest. Like, I just watched those games literally just to see Derrick Henry.
Right.
Like, that's the only reason I was like, yo, the fucking Titans are on. Like, I would never.
Yeah.
I might have said that to see like Marcus Mariota's like first season, just to be like, all right, let's see what this guy's about. I'm never saying, oh, the Titans are on. Like, fuck you. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like,
Story. When we were in Atlantic City, me and Chris did a bet. It was the Titans against. I want to say. Oh, it was the Titans against the Texans, and we both bet the Texans, but we were both so scared just because of the presence of Derrick Henry. It ended up being where we won the bet and Texans won. We did like the spread, but it got to the point where it was like late in the fourth quarter and the game was still like really close. And I'm like, Chris, like at any moment Derrick Henry can just break out a 60-yard run right now. And I didn't know it. It was the scariest bet I've ever made in my life just because he was on such a tear last season. But yeah, that man,
I have him above guys like Dalvin Cook, Mark Ingram, Nick
the thing
Chubb.
about Dalvin Cook this year is because he's holding out.
Right.
So I wouldn't even put him in the top 5 right now just because you can't. Just because he's holding out.
Forgot that he was holding out.
And I feel like Mark Ingram is a little high in your list.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie.
I could see Chubb and Kamara being over him. But
I can see Aaron Jones being over him. Aaron Jones had a season. He had like 20 touchdowns.
the only thing that like hurt me with Aaron Jones, because I had him last season. So if anyone's a fucking fan of him, like at this point, I had Jones and Eckler who have 9 to 10. Aaron Jones was just so boom or bust. Like it was either this dude got 4 touchdowns, like and like 100 yards, or it was like he was still like a good running back. But it's what he did last season is going to be so hard to reproduce, because the way that he was scoring his points was like chance. Like it wasn't like
It was a lot of red zone stuff.
a lot of red zone stuff. Like he had a fuck ton of touchdowns last year.
Right, yeah, like 20.
So like him compared to a guy like Christian McCaffrey or like fucking or Derrick Henry, like guys who are just going to be consistent and just be able to break out for like those big tackles. Like I think I beat Rob one week just because Aaron Jones literally broke out for like an 80-yard touchdown, and that was it. Like that was literally the only thing he did that day. He ran an 80-yard touchdown, and then that put me to like I think he had like 4 points the rest of the day, like a fucking an extra 30 yards and maybe like one reception. And the rest of the fucking day was just that one run.
Damn.
So he just, like, watching him pretty closely last year.
Yeah, you had a different perspective.
So that's the only thing that I saw about him. Because I felt more confident, like, Kamara, is always going to catch passes. Like, Nick Chubb's going to run for, like, at least, like, 1,500 yards this season or some shit like that. Like, he's just going to fucking kill it. Mark Ingram, I like him just because I like,
I had him 2 years ago, and he was a real big help. I'm not going to lie. He was still on the Saints back then. Him and Kamara were just different together.
Oh my god.
They were very different together. So
I would say I don't know how they didn't win a Super Bowl with that team, but I do know it's because that one fuckboy couldn't fucking tackle Stephon Diggs while he was literally in midair.
We need to talk about the NFL refs for like 5 minutes. What else do you need to do to train these people? I don't understand how you fuck up as much as you do as a professional ref in the NFL. I can do a better job. I've reffed flag football for 1 season. I will do a better job than half of the refs in the NFL. I don't understand it. Like I know it's real time and everything like that. But there's some plays where I'm just so blown away where you didn't call a pass interference or you didn't call a clear hold. Everybody in the world can see it except for you. Why?
And you're right there.
You're right there.
There's nobody in front of you.
Would you blink?
That's what I found like crazy being like I felt like training wise like for the most part I'm standing in front of the guys because like I have to be like in a visual like field of everyone else.
Yeah.
So even if it was like the guys playing like the high school football that I was covering, like even if it was like shit like that, like I could obviously tell what the fuck was going on. And I was like looking, but I'm literally just looking at like when the play ends, I'm just making sure everyone stands up. Like that's the only thing I'm looking at. I was like, if I actually was like paying attention, like they were right fucking there. Like
your job is to pay attention.
I could tell when some dude was gonna get laid the fuck out, and I could tell when a dude was being held. I was like, yeah, like that was it. Like it was right there. Like I'm looking at 10 feet away from me. Like there's no like I'm not 10 rows up. Like I'm not fucking looking at a TV screen. I'm right fucking there. I'm staring at you. Like
I don't get it. I've always didn't understand that one guy who sits basically like right behind the linebackers, that one ref. How do you miss everything? You're basically playing the game.
Yeah, literally.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're in the middle of everything. Like all of a sudden a ball can whiz by your head at any moment. Like at least the guy on the sidelines, like they have room and everything.
Yeah.
You're in the middle of everything. You might get decked.
That's a tough fucking spot to be in.
Right? But how do you miss something? You're right there.
I feel like it's just because so much shit's going on. Like, at the same time, you're trying not to die because you got, like... If I was, like... Even, like, me at, like, the size I am now, like, walking around the football field, like, everyone's bigger than me. Like, everyone is, like, fucking... The only dudes who were the same height as me were the running backs. And the running backs were the smallest kids on the team.
But they were 220.
And they're still, like, 5 times the size of me, like, muscle-wise. And I was, like... I could not feel comfortable being out there with, like, linebackers. Like, imagine Derrick Henry coming down, Von Miller coming to fucking meet him, and all of a sudden you're standing and you're like, oh shit, like, he's right in front of me. And then all of a sudden you got fucking Von Miller right behind you, and you're like, I'm gonna die, like.
Yeah, no, I get that. But, I mean, I just don't get how you miss some things. I don't.
And what's crazy is that they got rid of, like, that instant replay thing that they implemented last season. It was like they call up and then it's like, was that pass interference? And they're like, yes or no.
Yeah.
And they were like, yeah, we're done with that.
Did they actually?
Because it was so bad last season because the guy who ran it sucked.
There was only one guy in New York?
It was like one. I think it was one dude who was like running all the shit, and they would call him and he would like look at it.
One guy?
I think it was one guy. One guy.
Why?
I have no idea, but the XFL had like remote controls. So like I'm playing Xbox and I go to like press pause, go to instant replay. Like, bro, look at this fucking hold. And it's like the whole fucking, you can like forward, reverse, like zoom in, zoom out type of shit. That's what the XFL used. Takes 25 seconds. They have a mic set on, so then when they're looking at it, they'll be like, yeah, so, and then the thing is like on the fucking screen, and it's like they're streaming on Twitch. Like they like zoom, and they're like right there, you can obviously see that number 84 is grabbing the fuck onto that dude. So yeah, that's a fucking penalty, you fucking dumbasses. But the NFL's never gonna, they can't take that, because that like gives legitimacy to the XFL. So they'll have to wait like 10 years and then they'll bring it in. Yeah. Same thing with like the sky cams. Like the first time the XFL came around, they implemented like the sky cam, and then like after that went out of business a couple years later, like the NHL did it for the Winter Classic shit, and then the NFL now does the sky cam shit. And it's like, we understand that you can't do it right now, because then everyone's going to be like, well, fuck the NFL. Like, obviously XFL is like on this shit. And it's like, but the fact that they got rid of like the one thing that everyone in the world was like, yo, pass interference, like, come on. And they're like, yeah, we'll fix it. And then they're like, no, we won't.
I'm actually happy that XFL came back for what it was, because there were some guys who got onto actual like NFL teams from there. There was like the best quarterback, like he got onto a team. I don't know what team he got onto, but he's on a team.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Yeah, that's good for them.
It's nice that they have like a minor league, because you can't go overseas. You like baseball, you can play in like Puerto Rico, you can play in China, you can play in Korea, you can play in the minor leagues, the fucking all 16 fucking levels you got. And the NHL, you could go play in like Europe and shit. The KHL pays pretty well. Like if you're like Yager or Kovalchuk, like they left because they were getting paid more in fucking Russia. So you can go do that shit. And then basketball, you can kind of play in China, I guess. Like,
Barcelona.
Yeah, so you got a couple other places.
Spain is crazy.
But there's nowhere where you can play football besides America. Besides the NFL, like, you're not going anywhere. So the guys...
Canada, but like their league is so different.
That's true, yeah. And you're probably not getting paid jack shit like there. So at least like other places, you're kind of getting like... You're probably feeling like the guys back in the day where you're like still working like your construction day job, and it's like, I gotta go play football tonight, like.
That's what my stepdad did. He would go to work when he still had the auto body shop, go there, and like after he had like a game at like 6 p.m. and I'm like, yo, you just beat yourself up at work, and now you gotta go play a whole game?
Yeah.
Like football? Like, what are you doing? And these guys were huge, and I'm like, yo, you're gonna get laid out, and like I feel really bad for you, but like have fun. But that's what that's what I picture the CFL being, you know. But I don't know. I feel like they're if we get back to running backs, I feel like there are going to be some surprises this year. Like people are just going to be like the top 4, 5-ish. I feel like you're going to stay the same. You know, like they're gonna.
Yeah, after those guys, it's like, who knows?
I feel bad for Todd Gurley.
We'll see what the fuck he does, man.
What is with that, man?
It's weird too, cause it's like, it wasn't an ACL.
Right.
It wasn't like his PCL, MCL. It wasn't like one of the major collateral ligaments. It wasn't like as if it was like a compartment syndrome where they had to like cut his leg open and like have shit like. It wasn't like major surgery. It was a meniscus. Like, that's not even an open surgery.
Right.
So.
I don't know, man.
Like, I don't know.
Because he was real good. He was bad for one season. Came back, did really well. Like, blew up. And then, again, like, why are you bad again? You know? Like, you're doing the same thing. Like, the playbook hasn't changed.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong? I don't, like, it's hard. It's hard for people out there to draft him right now because they know. Because remember, Chris drafted him 2 years ago and he blew up after that awful season that he had. Like, how are you going to judge that? Like, you're not going to pick. You're not going to be the first running back picked.
No.
You might not even be the second running back picked.
You might not, like. Are you an RB1? Like,
no.
Probably not.
Not now.
Because especially if we're playing like a 12-man league, I mean, you might be. a running back one. But you're not like.
I don't think so. If you're a running back one as Todd Gurley on your team, you're not going to win that season.
Mm,
And I'm really sorry for you, but you can't. And that's before the season starts because we said the same thing 2 seasons ago when Chris picked him. And he's like, yo, let me pick him. And he blew up, became RB1, and was crazy. And he won. Chris ended up winning.
mm,
And I was just like, that's all luck because Todd Gurley was supposed to be ass. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't know if that's going to happen this year because last season he was ass. You know, same thing might happen where you pick him up and he becomes great again and becomes an RB1 and you win the season. Like, how are you supposed to judge that?
it'll be a nice change of pace for him, because I don't think Devonta Freeman is somewhere else now. Devonta
Yes,
Freeman,
somewhere. I don't.
I think actually, I don't know. Hold on, let's check out. Devonta Freeman. He might actually still be on the Falcons. Yeah, he's still on the Falcons. He, I think now is like undraftable. Like I can't draft him because like
I'm not drafting.
you got to go Todd Gurley. Like if you're the Falcons in general, like Devonta Freeman was not that great last season in the first place.
Right.
He hasn't been like he was like I feel like he was really good maybe like 2-3 years ago, and then just has like steadily been declining every season, and now it's like now you obviously have a replacement for him, and Todd Gurley's on a 1-year deal, has something to prove, so it's like it's interesting to that whole backfield is fucked. Like I'm staying away from that backfield.
Yeah.
Like fuck that backfield. But I have a feeling that like I could probably drop Gurley down in this. Like Drake I could pop up. Mixon I could pop up. Fournette I just feel bad for him because he's on the Jags.
Right, but you can still bump him up.
I could still bump him up. Le'Veon I don't fucking know about
Depends.
Le'Veon Bell, man.
Josh Jacobs you can bump up. And then from there, that's when it gets iffy.
Yeah.
Because like you don't know what James Conner's going to do. You don't know what David Johnson's going to do. Kareem Hunt has potential, but you still don't know.
Yeah, and he's gonna be the second running back.
Right.
It's not like he has the reins of that backfield.
And then you have Sanders, which is like he's going to split reps. Montgomery's
Yeah.
going to split reps, and then Matt Breida not on the Niners anymore. So you know, that's why I feel like there's some people like Dame Williams, Kerryon Johnson, rookies, Clyde, and DeAndre Swift. That kid, DeAndre Swift, was crazy.
Yeah.
He was crazy. There's also a running back from Ohio State. I forget his name. That he just got drafted. I don't know where he got drafted to. But that man, I'm sorry, did I say Ohio State? Not Wisconsin.
Wisconsin.
Yeah. Forget his name.
My friend just moved to Wisconsin, like last year.
Why do I forget his name? I don't know. But this kid's gonna be good. They're gonna be better than some guys that are in. Like, I'm telling you, they're gonna be better than James Conner.
I think there's a big drop off. I think that's his first name, Devin Singletary. I think he'll have a good season just because I'm fairly high on the Bills, just because like that division sucks now. Like that division sucks now, and he played pretty well last season. Like I think I had him. He wasn't a top like I think he was like scraping top 30. Him and Miles Sanders I both had because I drafted them like hoping they'd be like because Josh Jacobs went and then I needed like a 3-4 running back, and I think that's when I went Singletary Sanders, and they did like all right, but
Well, Singletary split reps with Gore last year.
and now Gore's gone. I don't know who the fuck they have in that, but that offense should be good in fucking in Buffalo, and their defense is good, bro. They got Josh Norman
Yeah.
and quarter like what the fuck?
They needed something though.
Yeah, for real.
You know.
But that like I don't understand how if they don't win the division like
You have
some crazy shit must be
You have to win the division.
must be going on.
You got New England has Julian Edelman, and that's it. And they still have a good defense-ish, but they shouldn't win. Even with Belichick, even with you, that team, what it is now, They can't win. Who's their quarterback?
Who the Pats?
Yeah.
Jared Stidham, and you have Brian Hoyer.
What is? I wish we had a camera to see my face right now. What is that?
Jared Stidham is a joke. I don't mean we'll see what the fuck happens because like Patriots, but I would think you start Brian Hoyer like 10 out of 10 times. I don't know who the fuck Jared Stidham is.
It was one time I did a DraftKings. It was when Brian Hoyer was still on the Texans,
Mm.
and he wasn't supposed to play this game, and I picked him by accident, and he ended up going in and winning me like $50. I was so hyped. I don't know how it happened. It came out of nowhere, and I did it when I was still in Albany when I did it too, and it just came out of nowhere. We were watching the game, me and my friend, and all of a sudden Brian Hoyer comes in the game and goes crazy. And I'm like, yo, this is so. I picked him like no one else picked him. It was mad funny. But yeah, he's still ass. I don't know. He's awful.
And he's old too. I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what the fuck the Patriots gonna do. I don't know why the fuck you don't sign Cam Newton.
Right?
Sign Cam
Imagine
Newton
Cam
so
Newton throwing Julian ball.
to a 1 year, $10 million contract.
Yeah.
What do you have to lose?
Nothing.
Literally nothing.
Fitzpatrick got signed to that 2 years ago, 3 years ago. Like what?
Fitzmagic is something else though. You think who would you rather have, David Johnson or Kareem Hunt?
Where's David Johnson at?
He's on the Texans.
Right. Dave Johnson.
David Johnson.
Just because Nick Chubb is going to basically be that team.
It'll be when I had
That's
Kareem.
a tough question though.
When I had Kareem Hunt last season, he got me 14 points a game. Like literally just from average, got me 14 points a game. Literally just because he was the pass catcher.
Yeah.
So if you're not playing PPR, then that's like a totally different story.
Right.
But having David Johnson is we'll see. I mean, I don't know.
Like he's still good. You can't say that David Johnson's not good.
No, not at all.
But he wasn't worth DeAndre Hopkins by
But-
any means.
We'll see. Yeah, that I don't understand what the fuck was going on with that trade. Like
That's just stupid.
you like let's
That's
look
just stupid.
like so you have D Hop and you trade him for the guy who we have at least 20 guys ranked over.
Yeah.
That was what you trade, and what they get, like a second rounder with that or some shit like that, or
Something similar to
like
yeah.
what is going on? Who?
That head coach, like him. I don't know. I've never liked their head coach though.
The fuck is that guy's name? He was the dude from Patriots, right? He was their offensive coordinator.
No.
No?
Why do I forget his name? Whatever his name is.
That's that. There's no way that's this fucking guy.
Mhm.
Oh, it pops up Houston Cougars football. Yeah, because that's what I'm fucking trying to look up, man. That's what I'm trying to fucking look up. What is going on? Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, that guy looks like a
Okay.
fucking joke.
He's terrible. I've hated him. Like, he's such a bad coach. Like, what are you doing? What made you think that was okay? And they weren't terrible last season, the Texans.
No, and it's like I don't know what the fuck they really needed, but it's like you definitely didn't have to trade away DeAndre Hopkins. It's
You're in the South, right? And Indianapolis just got a new quarterback in Philip Rivers, so he's got to adjust and everything like that.
yeah.
And you are the team. You are basically the team to beat in that division, right? Who else is in the South?
It's them, Indy, Titans, Jacksonville.
So you compete with the Titans to win that division, basically.
Which you could.
Right.
Especially
With that team.
the Titans seem like, I think a lot of people think that was like peaking for the Titans.
Right, but you don't know. Because Tannehill can have another good season.
He could, yeah, and he could do better than he did, but he seems like, I don't know, he seems like a safer type of option, more like a what the fuck is that guy's name? No, who's the guy on the Vikings? Not Casey Keenum. The fuck is Kirk Cousins? He seems like that type of player where
Yeah.
it's like you're not gonna get like bombs out of him and shit like that. He's not gonna make your team win. But if you have that fucking stud running back and Derrick Henry, like that could push your team forward and having like low scoring games and shit like that. If he can keep that up, then it's like all right, like you might have a little bit of trouble. But what the fuck did they go last season? Like fucking 9-7, 10-6, like
Something like that.
the fuck was going like that's not unattainable, especially for you're versing Jacksonville twice a year. You should win both those games. Indy, you should be able to come away with those wins, especially if you still have DeAndre Hopkins on your team. Like,
Yeah.
but it's like fuck, man. And then you have like, and then you bring in like these other fucking dudes, like, as if that's like even comparable. Like, and it seemed like as if he traded away. Why didn't you just trade for a running back?
Right?
If-
Like, I know your running backs are ass.
Yeah.
And like that's obviously what you wanted, but you traded for David Johnson.
And you,
Not the best running back in the league.
why
but
didn't you
not
give
the
away
worst.
Will Fuller?
Right?
Give away Will
They
Fuller.
honestly probably would have taken it. They probably would have taken it. They threw in Will Fuller instead of D Hop and like an extra draft pick maybe. They would have taken it.
They're like, all right, Will
Don't tell me they
Fuller,
wouldn't have taken it.
Will Fuller, and a fourth for David Johnson in a seventh. Does that seem like it's a bad idea for anybody?
No. That's what I'm saying.
Especially when you have Kenyon. What is the leverage the Cardinals have? Like, all right, we have Kenyon Drake, this new guy. He's obviously the guy we're gonna run with. We just traded for him. He's doing fucking well. Now we have this other fucking dude, and someone's just like, I'll give you DeAndre Hopkins. Like, was that where you started? Did you?
I need to know if you started there. You need to be fired because if you started there, that's a huge issue. Because if you're gonna compare D Hop to Kenyon Drake, that's an issue to me. Okay, that's a huge
Oh, my
issue.
God.
I know your whole problem was running back because your second string running back was Alfred Blue.
Yeah.
That guy is garbage. But that still doesn't give you the right to ruin that entire franchise by
Ugh.
basically giving away the best wide receiver in the game.
I might buy a DeAndre Hopkins jersey. That's gonna look fire.
I don't blame you.
I feel bad for Texans fans.
Unreal.
I don't know a single Houston Texan fan, and I don't know anything about like I've never been to Houston, don't know anything about Houston, but I feel pain for them like I do as a Jets fan. Like
Yeah.
it's just like you just look at them and you're like, wow, that was like coming from me, like that was fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Like I've seen some dumb shit in my days, but that was fucking rough.
So stupid.
Who would you rather have, Leonard Fournette or Melvin Gordon?
Leonard Fournette.
Leonard Fournette.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like with some help, he can be top tier running back.
I wish they traded him when those rumors were going around. At least he handled it like a fucking champ. He was like, yeah, like it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
instead of being like, fuck them, like, and the whole fucking 9 yards.
It just sucks because like the Jacksonville Jaguars, like they were so ass for so long and then got good because their defense was like top. Like they were like 1-2. If you could argue. They
Was
were,
that when they had? Did they have Josh Norman?
No.
No. Who the fuck? Who was their guy? It was the cornerback. Who the
Jalen
fuck?
Ramsey.
Jalen Ramsey. There we go. It was
Yeah.
that dude. He left and went to where? The Redskins, and then started sucking dick.
No, he's on the Rams.
Rams, right? The Rams have a sick defense.
Yeah.
The fact that they have, are they the one with Sue and Donald?
Yeah.
Like, bruh.
Yeah.
The fact that like you have, Aaron Donald is like you could say that he's like the best football player right now. Like you could say that, and then you're like, Ndamukong Suh when he was on Miami, everyone was like, oh, like this guy doesn't get pressed because Miami sucks, but it's like he's still like one of the best guys, and then all of a sudden you throw them together, it's like, how are you a quarterback and even think about like, oh, like let me get a deep ball and like I got 4 seconds to kill. Like no you don't, no you fucking don't.
At the time,
Oh my god.
and like he was obviously at his prime, but like still, it's Clay Matthews. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They're weird.
Did you see that on Twitter when it was Clay Matthews and Todd Gurley and they tweeted at the Rams like, "Where's my money at?" Yo, it was mad funny.
How long ago?
It was like not super long ago, but It was like probably a couple months ago,
Oh, really?
and I think it was Clay Matthews, and he was like at Rams, like y'all still need to pay me.
Oh, you know, wait, I know what you're talking
And
about.
then
Yeah,
Todd
he
Gurley,
did do that.
Todd Gurley was like arrow sign up, like you know what it's like.
Yeah, unreal. I don't think he's on the team anymore, Clay Matthews.
No, I think that he's gone.
Yeah, but like still, like you still had a really good defense, and you didn't really know what to do with it.
Hmm.
I don't know, Sean McVay. Like everybody was so high on him, but like obviously he didn't do that much. And he was riding high on Jared Goff.
Yeah, Jared Goff is looking a bit like a joke right now.
Like he's alright, but he's not. He's definitely not top caliber quarterback. He can make some plays though. I'll give him that. He can definitely make some plays.
Did I ask you this? Did I already ask? Nick Chubb or Mark Ingram?
No, but I would pick Nick Chubb.
Nick Chubb.
Yeah.
I like Mark Ingram just because that offense is more reliable than the Browns.
Yeah, I get it. I don't know. I just feel like Nick Chubb can run forever, and Mark Ingram's gonna get tackled at some point. You know, he's a Wilson.
That's true, yeah. Mark Ingram is probably, I don't know if it's that he is good or if it's the fact that he is just has to work with someone that is like,
He's always been in a good system.
yeah,
You
like
know?
because
He's
when it
never
was
not been in a good system his
when it
entire
was
career.
just him and like coming out of Alabama. I mean, obviously Alabama, like
Yeah.
you're gonna run over everybody. Like if you're a running back at Alabama, like and you don't run over everybody, like
Yeah.
you're probably like on the practice squad. Like there's no chance that you're an actual fucking dude. But he started off slow and then all of a sudden they brought in Kamara and then they both start going off.
Yeah.
And then you put him next to Lamar Jackson, who is like as much a running back as he is a quarterback, and he's a fucking sick quarterback. So it's like now you got like this running back quarterback and this other dude. It's like you're still playing like second fiddle to like another guy. So I wonder if it's he's sick or that he's just been in like great situations.
I'm not gonna call him a bad running back. Like if he was on his own, basically, he wouldn't be as great as he is now.
He's not Derrick Henry.
No.
Like
No. But like, I just feel like he's always been in a good situation. You know.
can't blame him for that either.
No.
God
he
bless
got
him, man.
Lucky, yeah. Definitely got lucky.
Yeah, I don't know. I literally don't know anything about the wide receiver rookies, and I don't even know where I would draft them. Like looking at the wide receiver rankings and then thinking like, where are these rookies fall? Like literally couldn't tell you.
Yeah. I feel like out of all the rookies drafted, I feel like I don't know who's gonna be the best. I don't.
There's so many of them
There's
too.
so many. Like even somebody you don't have on here, T. Higgins from Clemson.
Mm.
He got drafted in the second round, I think, and I feel like he should have went earlier than he did. Well, like this receiver. If I had to pick the best one, who's gonna do the best?
I like C.D. Lamb just because I like the way that he looks, like playing wise. But I think if I had to draft one of these dudes, I think Jerry Jeudy would be first, because I think that
I would draft Judy first.
because I think that he'll get some like I think he's got some for sure targets coming his way, and then the other guy, Rigor, who went to the Eagles, I think he's got some guaranteed catches coming his way, and then I like C.D. Lamb, because I mean he's a great guy going to a place that's pretty close by, and so you know that fucking what's his name, the guy who owns Cowboys, the fuck. Jerry Jones is going to be like, we have to get this guy the ball. Like, I want like another superstar on my team type of shit. So you know, like fucking, you'll get fucking what's his name like in his fucking ear like. But I like the guy who you guys drafted too.
Yeah, he's real good.
And you guys need another wide receiver too.
Him and Debo are gonna be crazy this year.
So there are a lot of good like additions to that shit. Mims will get shut the fuck down.
I like Justin Jefferson a lot too.
Where'd he go?
He went to the Vikings.
That was that is
Good
a
spot for them.
that is a nice
They got
spot.
rid of Stephon, so they have Adam Thielen now, Justin Jefferson. It's gonna be fun to watch these rookies figure it out.
Yeah.
Just because of how good that the class was. So that's gonna be cool.
Tight ends. I think Kelsey, Kittle are interchangeable.
Yeah.
I like Kittle more just because I like him more than I like Travis Kelsey as like a person. I like watching George Kittle more than I like watching Travis Kelsey. I don't know why, but I think he's got like a little bit more like personality to him or some
Oh,
shit
for
like
sure.
that.
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
you actually see because it's like also it's Jimmy G's not like the star that like Patty Mahomes is. So
Yeah.
the first thing that they go to is like Kittle. It's like
Yeah.
who's mic'd up? George Kittle. Like
Yeah.
who's got the interview? George Kittle. It's like while Travis Kelsey's just kind of like you don't really hear much about like especially because he's like the big fucking typical white guy tight end dude. It's like you got like Gronk, huge personality. George Kittle, everyone's loving him up. You got Kelsey, who's like on that like tier, and I feel like I never see anything from him.
I see him in like he makes commercials, like funny commercials sometimes. Like so
Mm.
he definitely does have like a personality to him. But like I can see what you're going with, like how George
Yeah.
Kittle and like Gronk are at a different level. But like them two, Kelsey and Kittle, interchangeable for sure at 1-2. And I would definitely put Mark Andrews at 3.
Yeah.
He had a great season.
He had a crazy season last year. I was like, what the fuck?
As long as Gronk is the way he is.
And then they traded their backup. Who the fuck they? The Ravens.
The Ravens, right? Yeah.
I don't even remember who the fuck that guy's.
Crazy deal for him
And yeah, I don't remember. I gotta look up that trade real quick.
because he was still really good. Like that guy will start on whatever team he's on.
They traded Hayden Hurst to the Falcons.
Hayden Hurst, he's gonna start on the Falcons.
Because the Falcons traded Hooper and then. So they fucking traded. Let's see. They got back a decent amount too.
Yeah, for sure.
They traded Hayden Hurst and a 4th rounder for a second and a 5th rounder.
See, that's good.
Yeah.
And you don't need that other tight end, you know?
Mhm.
That's the reason for it. Nothing.
Literally. Unless you're playing like a 2 tight end system, which you're not. Like.
Yeah, no one really does anymore. But like it definitely drops off after Hooper.
Mhm.
I don't even like OJ Howard that much.
I like OJ Howard just because Tom Brady, and Tom Brady likes his tight ends, and that's like literally the only reason why he made it up there. If they didn't have Tom Brady, I think that he's like living near like Rudolph, and I only have Rudolph that high because they got rid of Stephon Diggs,
Yeah.
so they're gonna need another guy who like he knows and like a face to fucking feed.
But like, there's really nothing. The drop off is this is the biggest drop off.
It's tough, yeah.
Tight ends. Like
Your top 4, 5. We'll see how Ertz does. Like, see if what's his name's the Carson Wentz stays healthy.
yeah.
So you'll have like at least hopefully a top 5, but then OJ Howard, Austin Hooper, like question marks because like we'll see if OJ Howard even gets on the field like first off, and then we'll see if Austin Hooper like even gets receptions. We'll see if how the fuck Browns do. Like who knows about the Browns? Evan Ingram probably get another fucking concussion this year. Hunter Henry had a tough season last year. Because he was hurt in the beginning, but he ended off kind of well, and I think they franchise tagged him. So yeah, so he'll be back. Eric Ebron is with Pittsburgh. I think they did a decent, like pretty decently well with Vance McDonald. So I'm guessing if you put Eric Ebron in, he'll do better than that because he's a pretty decent guy.
He had a good season on Indianapolis last year too.
Yeah.
I can see that.
Him and Jack Doyle kind of like went 50-50 for the last like 2 seasons or so. So I think Jack Doyle like is viable, but I will see like what the fuck goes on.
Yeah.
Someone who I kind of want to see, 2 guys who I want to see if they do well, is Will Dissly, the guy from because he had like 2 breakout games and everyone was like what the fuck, and that guy T.J. Hawkinson.
Yeah.
We'll see because he had like
he was drafted high.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people were like, "Yo, this guy is like the next great thing. Like
Right.
Matthew Stafford's gonna love him," and it was like, nothing fucking happened.
I wonder, and like it's crazy how like some people like Olsen just fell off,
Hmm.
Jesse James is kind of just there.
Yeah.
Cameron Brate, nothing crazy. Like what else?
Yeah, you have like a decent. You have a from 6 to 11. You have like decent,
Yeah.
and then from like 12 down, you're like, who fucking knows?
Just give me some points.
Literally.
Like who are you gonna draft? Like if you start to draft those people, you're in kind of trouble.
Yeah.
Like you're in deep water there. You're probably not gonna win.
Like, I don't know. It's tough because it's like, if you think about like your second round pick, it's like, all right, first round comes. It's like, all right, like I pick like fucking Michael Thomas. And then your second round comes, it's like, do you go with like a running back? Like, are you still able to get like fucking like Nick Chubb or some shit or something like that? Or are you going like tight end right away and you're like, oh, let me get fucking either like one of those top three guys that are hopefully hanging around?
Yeah.
Like, I don't. It seems like it's important to have a tight end, but I'm always skeptical to draft a tight end that high.
I would never draft a tight end in the first 2 rounds.
Because even though we talk about them so highly, their like points per game last season was only like 14.
Yeah.
Like they're compared to fucking running backs, like 14 was fucking Kareem Hunt. Like what the fuck?
Yeah.
So even though it seems like it's crazy, and that like 14 points compared to like the 2 points that like fucking Goddard's gonna get you, like it's night and day. But it'll be interesting. I don't think I'm gonna even like last year I did a ton of fucking mock drafts. Like I don't even think I think I'm just gonna go into it and just be like fuck it, man. Like, cause you don't know who like the random 8 dudes or another random 11 dudes or girls or whoever the fuck in the world are like, oh, like I'm gonna draft this shit, and then all of a sudden like it's you and your boys, and like your boys were not thinking anything like that, and you're like, all right, this guy's gonna go in the third round, and all of a sudden like he's gone in like the late first, and you're like, what the fuck? I think that's everything I have. Mm,
Who do you think the best defense is gonna be this year?
the defense rankings was literally not even like rankings. It was just whoever did the best last season. And I just threw it on. I was like, fuck this, because I don't. I like the Rams. Um, I think the Vikings lost their linebacker guy. I forgot the fuck his name was.
I know they can sign somebody, but they might have lost somebody as well.
I don't remember what their additions and subtractions were.
It kind of like that's another like position where you're gonna like the first like 3 or 4. If you get that like word, and then after that you're kind of fucked.
Yeah. Because if you get like one of those top defense, like if you get like a Niners or like a Rams or a Patriots, so like the Patriots, I feel like only did well last season because they got like fucking 500 pick sixes. Like
Yeah, Stephon Gilmore went once.
it was just ridiculous how many like fucking times he was running in the end zone. But if you don't get like one of those top tier defenses, and you're all of a sudden scrambling every week, and it's like your waiver wire then drops because of that, it kind of sucks.
Yeah. Same thing with I think it's the same thing with like kickers too, because like kickers just miss everything nowadays.
But I don't know what the fuck is getting into kickers. Like
They miss everything.
I feel like kickers back in the day were automatic.
Yeah.
Like
All they did was move the field goal back 5 yards. Why can't you make an extra 5 yards? You know, and like even like 35 yarders, 40 yarders, shanking like OD.
yeah.
Like, what are you doing? Just fucking put it through the uprights. It's been done forever. Like, what is wrong with you? Like, why you ask?
Like the field goals, like I mean not the extra points too.
Yeah,
It's like it's the same thing. You're literally just like a little bit more back. Like
100%.
if you're kicking a field goal like that, in every time. But now all of a sudden it's like the fucking hardest thing in the world because it's an extra point. Like, what is wrong with you? What the fuck's going on?
Like you have one job. Like everybody else has like one job too.
Yeah.
Like their job is to remember plays, run the ball, kick, like catch, all that stuff.
Yeah.
You have one job. One. Run 3 steps and kick it. That's what your job is. Like figure it out. Like go in the off season, go in indoor facilities, like for 4 hours a day, every day. Like you got it.
And just kick
And
field
just
goals.
start kicking field goals. You can pay for somebody to get the balls for you. Look good. Just fucking kick the ball through the oven. That's all you need to do.
Dan Bailey went to the Vikings, so I'm not drafting him for fucking jack shit.
Hell,
If you're a kicker on the Vikings, I don't even want to conversate with fucking drafting you.
Justin Tucker is like, I feel like the best kicker. Probably the most consistent kicker every time.
He's good. Greg Zerline, where the fuck did he go?
I don't know.
He went somewhere else.
He's kind of just like whatever nowadays. Well, like Harrison Butker, he's good. Will Lutz is good. Prater can boot a ball.
Greg Zerline went to the Cowboys.
Okay. I mean, I guess indoor facility might help him out.
Yeah.
You know, Robbie Gold is always kind of good.
I had
Chris Boswell. I don't like Chris Boswell.
I had Greg Zerline. Remember when we did fantasy football in Mr. Faz's class or whoever your class, whoever teacher you had? What was the other guy's name? Farney.
Uh-huh.
I had Greg Zerline. It was me, Mike Papak, and Carmine Cristione, and it was us 3 playing fantasy football against like everyone else. And I literally think Greg Zerline was our best player.
That guy had. I think I remember the season that
He was
had,
kicking ass, yo.
Yeah, it was. He was
I was like,
crazy.
holy shit.
Yeah, I think I remember that season.
That class was crazy. The fact that we literally just sat there and played fantasy football,
So
like,
dope.
was wild. And then you had to, like, calculate everything by hand and then send it up. And you were able to, like, it was like if you called someone out, their points dropped by half if they got it wrong.
Yeah.
But if you get that wrong, then your points dropped by half.
Uh-huh.
That was crazy.
My favorite part of that class is when we made like our own like professional teams. Did you do that?
Like, on the computer, it was like, I sucked. My shit would go out of business in, like, 3 days.
Yo, mine was so good.
How did you get it? I'd be sending ads out. I'd be putting up billboards. I'd be.
Mine was so good. First of all, we had the best jerseys in the entire class. And like I forget who I had or whatever, but he allowed us to do. It wasn't just one sport. Like you could pick any sport. You could pick baseball, and I was with Brian Perez and I think Kevin Clifford, and we were the Louisville like Sluggers, just because that's like what it was or whatever. Dude, our jerseys were so heat. Like we just made everything like so good. Like our stadium was dope. Like we killed all of that. That was my favorite part of that class. So who you picking first overall? If you have the number 1 pick, who you picking?
Oh my god. Probably Christian McCaffrey.
Right?
Like, I don't.
Right?
It's
You're either picking Christian McCaffrey or Patrick Mahomes.
or maybe Michael Thomas. I'm barely thinking Michael Thomas,
I wouldn't pick Michael Thomas.
but I'm
He
like,
was my first round draft pick, but I would not pick him first overall.
I just feel like he doesn't get touchdowns.
Yeah.
I feel like he gets mad receptions, mad yards, but the thing that he just doesn't get are touchdowns.
Yeah, for sure.
Patty,
picking Christian.
I feel like almost 3 years ago, we are not even talking about drafting the quarterback in the first round. Not even thinking about it. But last year, after Pat Mahomes was literally putting up like 50 points a game, we were kind of like, all right, like,
And then Lamar Jackson doing what he's doing.
Yeah.
Like, you might have to pick
Like-
a quarterback in the first round. Like if you're 7th or 8th, you're gonna pick a quarterback.
yeah.
You know, like
'Cause it's-
because Christian McCaffrey's gone, Saquon's probably gone. Michael Thomas is probably DeAndre Hopkins is probably gone. even somebody like Kittle or Kelsey might even be gone.
Mm-hmm.
I doubt it though.
Yeah.
But like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
One of those two might have gone by that point.
like somebody just might pick them like out of just nowhere. But like you're probably gonna have to pick Lamar Jackson or Patrick Mahomes because every other position is like pretty deep when it comes fantasy wise.
Yeah.
You know, and like after Carson Wentz, fantasy wise,
You can, like, I would hate to start any of those guys.
You know, and like I'm not saying those people after them are bad.
Yeah, but fantasy-wise, they don't
Fantasy-wise, it might just
they
not
don't show
be
the
it,
fuck up,
you know?
yeah.
It might not be the answer.
I think my first pick would be Christian McCaffrey if I had number one. If he went, I guess it'd be in between Patty Mahomes and Michael Thomas. And then I think after that, I like Zeke.
Yeah.
I just like having I like having guys I like to watch at the same time. I feel like if you're flashy, that probably means you're getting the ball enough.
Yeah.
Like if you're like a low key guy, like, and you get your yards and shit, kind of like Nick Chubb. Like, even though you're not like super flashy, you're not doing like crazy highlight shit, and you're just getting mad yards. Like, I'll probably end up picking like Saquon or like I guess that's kind of a little high. Like I'll probably pick Kamara over him just because Kamara has like crazy highlight reels
Yeah.
compared to like Nick Chubb's like real ground and pound like type of game.
Yeah, man.
Fuck Aaron Jones though. He ain't doing shit next
You
season.
think?
Yeah,
Word.
I don't think he's, cause even that other guy, I forget he was going on and off with, but there was a second running back there.
Montgomery.
Yeah,
Montgomery.
and he was doing well too, and then all of a sudden like, it was his. I literally just felt so lucky to have him on my team.
Yeah.
I was like, there's no way I should be doing like well right now. This is crazy.
You think Dwayne Haskins is gonna have a better season?
No. I think Dwayne Haskins gets benched halfway through the season. Which sucks because I really like that wide receiver, Terry McLaurin.
Yeah.
I really like him too. And I had him at like the end of the season too because he was getting like some decent looks. And I was like, yo, Dwayne Haskins just fucking sucks, man. Like, this guy is a bum.
He's been throwing the ball to AB, Jerry Jeudy lately, and like some. Imagine AB comes back. Where's he going?
Seattle.
I would punch that fucking wall.
Where else would he go? Where else needs a wide receiver and has the management to be able to control a guy like that?
I'd be so fucking mad. I'd be so mad.
Because imagine you have Russell Wilson, Rashad Penny, Chris Carson, and on the wide receivers you have DJ Metcalf, AB. Your tight end is Greg Olsen,
You have Tyler Lockett.
Tyler Lockett. That's fucking Super Bowl caliber team.
I'd literally lose my fucking mind.
And I think that's the only franchise that would be able to take on a burden like that.
Yeah, they did it with the fucking Marshawn Lynch.
Because you look fucking almost anywhere else.
If he does come back, is he top tier?
If he signs a contract today with let's say he signs with Seattle today, I'd probably put him. It's just tough because it's like, is he even gonna play like the season? Like, does he get suspended this season? Like,
Right.
the fuck is even gonna happen?
In a perfect world, he plays everything. I'm putting him 6.
I was literally about to say I was gonna put him 7 above Diggs. But yeah, like literally right around there. Like,
Yeah.
I think that extension, it's like the top 3, and then you could put him in with like Hill, Evans, and then you could put like Brown right there. That looks about right. Cause he's still sick.
Yeah, he's still
Like-
so dirty. Like he did good when he was playing. with
It's just
that.
such a bum ass.
Yeah, for sure. God.
It's crazy the divas that they have in football compared to other sports.
Yeah.
Like, you don't hear anything out of hockey players, which I kind of don't like at the same time. It's like have some personality. But baseball players, steroids, pretty much that. Like, that's
Yeah,
Steroids and cheating is about it.
Steroids, like in baseball, like at this point, it's only if you're like ass.
Yeah.
Taking them. Like there's no like good player like anymore that's gonna take steroids. Like the last good player that took steroids was like Ryan Braun, and that was like years ago. That was like 5 years ago.
I remember he won the MVP that season, and then they were like, "Oh, you're on roids." How do you not know he's on roids before he wins the MVP? Like, oh my god, that was like I think that was the last season I really watched baseball. I was like, "Yo, this guy's fucking nuts." And then he was on steroids, and I was like, "All right, I'm done with this."
There's just too many good pure hitters in baseball now that no one just takes steroids anymore. But yeah, like NBA, like you're gonna have the NBA is the flashiest sport in the world. You know, and that's just how it is.
Yeah.
Just because of the sport that it is, like all like the dunks and the crazy threes, like you know. But like I get what you're saying.
Cause I guess you have divas there, but at the same time.
Think so though, like they're flashy and everything like that, but like they aren't divas like the NFL.
They don't have the same allegations and shit like that.
Yeah.
Which is
never
tough.
like a huge problem with like. I mean, the last diva was really like Kevin Durant, I guess. If you consider him that.
You could say if the things about Kyrie starting his own league are true, even though they're probably not.
I feel like
but
he's the one. Like, if you're gonna pinpoint like a diva in the NBA, it's him, and like that's it.
Yeah.
Like he's out of this world. Like his mind is like so different than everybody else's.
But divas like in the NFL, like, I mean, off the top of the head, you got fucking AB. I mean, it's literally like every wide receiver that's ever played the game, and then like, or I'd say about half the wide receivers who like started in the NFL. Corners, yeah.
Yeah.
It's never like the. I guess you have some like. I guess you have guys like Baker Mayfield, who's a bit of like a.
I guess, yeah.
But I wouldn't even call him much of like a diva as I would just like a head case. Like it's just tough to be like, fuck, man, like just get your shit together. But it's something about those like position players. But it's not even. I wouldn't say it's as much running backs either.
I wouldn't either.
Like the skill position players, which is fucking horrible that they say skill position, like as if those other fucking guys who play don't have skill. Like what the fuck?
All linemen are athletic as fuck.
Bruh, and their lives suck, man.
Yeah.
Suck. I feel so bad for offensive linemen. When I was working with Stony Brook football, it was like wide receivers. You're just like, you run, you turn, you catch the ball. Cool, stand on the end of the line. But it's like with the fucking offensive line, you're just a bunch of fucking sweaty men pushing fucking heavy shit all day in the beating sun. It's like fucking 95 degrees out. And you're just like, you're already fat as fuck. And it's like, they're just telling you to eat more. It's like, at least with the head coach of Stony Brook, fuck man, I forgot what the fuck his name was. He had like good guy like off the field, on the field, fucking psychopath. And he was the guy. And it's funny because you would think like, oh, like he works with the offensive line, he's got to be at least like 6 feet tall, like jacked out of his mind. Yeah. Guy is like 5'4", like 180. Like yoked. Like he has to be on steroids. His arms are huge and he's got like fucking pipes for veins. But he is this small ass dude, like bald head, and he's just fucking screaming at guys. And I was like, I'm like, you guys have it rough, man. Like, I would always try to be like nice to them and shit. And they were like nice to me, like cool dudes and shit. And I was like, your life sucks, man. Like, offensive line, no glory, you don't get sacks. Like, it's fucking offensive line is just, I feel bad for those guys. But at the same time, those are the dudes who get fucking paid. In the fucking, like, for, like, a longer amount of time. Like, running backs will get kind of paid for, like, a little bit. But if you're, like, a real good offensive lineman, I feel like, off the top of my head, like, Chris Mangold for the Jets.
Yeah.
Guy played, like, fucking 15 seasons and was, like, probably getting paid out the ass. No endorsement. I'm sure you don't get crazy endorsements, though.
Right. No, but he deserved what he got.
Yeah. The running backs too, they're like just running through like pads and shit. Like they're like complaining and stuff. They have like their fucking little board and shit. I'm like, you guys are a bunch of pussies, man. Like,
to it, though, like running trenches is a little tough.
Oh yeah.
You get beat up.
When you're actually like in the game type of shit, I feel bad for them.
Yeah.
But during practice, they take it kind of easy. I guess you have to. Like
Yeah.
it's like the shit that they go through during practices. I mean, during games and shit like that. It's like,
Like if you like you're gonna break a tackle if you can physically break a tackle, you're gonna do it if you do it in practice or if you do it in a game. Like you
yeah,
don't need to do it in both. You know what I'm saying? Like you're gonna get beat up. If you get beat up in practice, you're not gonna be able to do it in a game. You know, as a running back. Like wide receivers, they need to get they need to figure it out in practice. I think just because of like you said, like they just like run routes like no one really touches them and stuff like that. Like it is what it is. If they get beat up in practice, they're gonna figure out in the game. They're gonna figure out better how to like move and like push people off, like legally push people off and run better routes. I feel like if they do it in practice, because like most of the time when you see them like practicing, like they're going against the air or a guy who's playing soft coverage.
yeah.
It's not gonna help.
Hmm.
You know, and if somebody's like doing press coverage, they're not attacking them like they would in a game.
Yeah.
Which is kind of BS because like, what are the odds of you getting hurt, getting press coverage? Like, it's not like you're getting tackled; you're just getting pressed. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like if they can do a little better job than that.
It's tough. Like trying to with like I guess you could say the same thing about almost any position. Trying to recreate like real life situations like on the practice field, because it's like even if you're going like hard as shit, like because at the same time these guys who have like the big egos or the divas have big egos, and you don't want to be the guy who's like, you ever see that it's DeAndre Hopkins and the other dude on Washington when they have the joint practice and he breaks his fucking, and the guy's like out forever, like just ruined his career right there. Like that's the same type of feeling. Like if you're the number one cornerback on your team and you're going up against like the number one wide receiver, at the same time you want to be like, all right, this guy ain't jack shit. Like fuck this guy. But at the same time, it's like if you're a number one cornerback on a different team and then you're in the game, it's like it's totally different than at practice.
Totally different. No, I get it. I totally get it.
It's crazy the sports sciences that are like coming out today of like the weight room is the weirdest fucking shit, man. It's not even like not even like, all right, like let's go to fucking work out. It's like fucking rocket science now. Like it's fucking crazy. It's like all this fucking crazy shit and it's like percentages and shit like that. It feels more like statistics than fucking like weight room shit.
Yeah, I can't even imagine. Just because of like, it's not like just like straight up like lifting anymore. I feel like, you know.
It's strange as fuck.
I don't know. I wish I would see like a room, like an actual weight room like you. I don't know. That's pretty cool.
It's like it's quick, like especially because you're usually only with them in season and then off season, they're kind of just like, get stronger, keep your endurance up, like go play pickup basketball and like go get stronger. That's like the two things they kind of just say. It's like play a different sport and like hit the weight room. But it's like when you're like baseball had like pretty bitchy weight room sessions, but at the same time it's like you're in the middle of your season, like you can't have these guys like doing like, you actually do like heavy weight low reps where it's like you're in and out real quick and you're just getting like your strength gains like and your power gains like as quickly as possible.
Right.
It's not like you're really looking for like any type of muscle growth. You're just looking for like maintenance at that point. So you just come in, you just get like the stimulation that you need and you get the fuck out. Which is like, who thought of that shit? Like, I have no idea. I have no idea.
Right. I know. I think from like even like now on, like for in the next like few like decades, like everything's gonna completely like change like the way sports are like looked at and the way that people like train and stuff for sports. I think it's just gonna blow up into something crazy. I don't know what else that you can do for it, but I feel like it's changed so much that like they can only go up from here. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so much. I feel like there's gonna be so much more shit that comes out that's gonna be insane. Like sports are just gonna be just like a totally different like breed than what it was like back in like 1990 type of stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like because back then it's just like there's no like devices that are hooked up to you that like uh measure like certain stuff that like
Yeah.
and, like you know what I'm saying?
See the Whoop strap? You ever see that shit?
Yeah.
The
Like,
Whoop
what?
thing?
Like what?
Fucking I watched the Two Bears One Cave podcast.
Okay.
Like I listen to that shit sometimes, and it's Bert Kreischer, Tom Segura,
Mm.
and they're like, and one of their sponsors is Whoop, and they're like, I got this Whoop strap on all the time. I know how many sleep cycles I get. I know how long my deep sleep is. I know how hard I have to work for the day. I know my heart rate variability. I know, and I'm like, bruh, like, like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's insane. That's just insane to think of.
And it's like you base the heart rate variability if you have a lot of variation in your heart rate just like throughout a regular day. It's like don't train hard that night, like low and slow type of thing.
Yeah.
And then if you have a pretty consistent heartbeat where your heart is like going pretty well, your variability is very low, so you're staying at the same spot. You can go hard that day, and it's like you base that with like your sleep shit, and then I'm like, it's so much shit that like even someone that's like fucking barely scratched the surface in this type of field, like I never learned about any of this shit, like none of this stuff. Like I was listening to a nutritionist, a doctor today, with the fucking Tony Gonzalez, and he was like, you learn nothing about that. He's 50 years old, so he gets through med school. He got 3 hours of nutrition.
That's it.
3 hours. You get like 12 now.
It's still,
That's it. It's a one-time thing.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
I feel like it's important, like especially nowadays, it's more important than anything.
Especially in America.
Yeah.
The
For sure.
fuck.
For sure. Wow.
But it's such like it's like a weird science where it's like you could eat well, smoke cigarettes, and drink booze. You could like eat well, not exercise, smoke cigarettes. You could eat well, drink booze, not exercise. Like there are so many like different combinations that you could be fucking up in other like remotes of life,
Yeah.
where it's like you have this broad scope of just like. That's why people say like fats are bad, because it's like fats are bad, and it's like, well, what fats are you eating? And you're like, I don't only eat like McDonald's, and it's like, all right, how often do you eat it? It's like I only eat it like once every 2 weeks, and it's like in reality, like this is a fucking bullshit survey. This guy eats it like every other fucking day, like coming home from, it's to have like a controlled study to be able to like figure out that type of shit, like so say you want to like figure out like especially like long-term effects for shit like that. You have like two separate groups. You need to feed them the same thing every day. You're spending all this money on food, on people to cook this shit, on how to fucking get it to them, and then hoping that they actually stick with it.
Yeah, I can't even.
The
That's insane.
the way that they're able to like, at least with drugs, it's like, all right, try it, and it's like, didn't work. It's like, all right, you didn't die. Like that's good. Like
Yeah, definitely food intake is definitely like a long-term type of thing where I would like so out of my like realm of like understanding anything, I wouldn't even know where to start with that. So like even with that, like not even like the training aspect of sports or whatever, like with like the food intake and like the sleep and like that, other than like the exercise that you need with it, I feel like is also a different like beast that you have to like control and like understand like for yourself, like what is best for yourself. And like I feel like that has also a very high ceiling where they can go so far from like where we are now, and I just think it's gonna like change drastically like everything. And like that with like sports equipment too. Sports equipment.
I saw that one thing. It was
is
like
crazy.
it was like years ago, and it was like Deshaun Jackson had a custom helmet that was like used by like fucking like jet pilots and shit like that to be able to like absorb like the G's of like that shit and like keep the fucking whatever the fuck. And I was like, how? And I guess it didn't work because that guy's still fucked up. But I was like, how the fuck are you even like? What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
and the budget to like make that type of shit is crazy.
Yeah,
Like,
for sure.
usually it just like throw them a helmet. It's like, even at the fucking college level, it was like, all right, take a helmet, and it was like, all right, it's like, does it fit properly? And the guys are always like, yeah, and then you go like grab it by the face mask and like go left, right, up, down a little bit, and then it's like. You go left, it's like their fucking right eye's closed. They go left, the fucking left eye's closed. I'm like, you go fucking up, it slips off their head, and I'm like, bro, do you even like?
Do you care?
I was like,
you know, Like this needs that. You need this. You can't play without it. So you might as well get one that fucking fits.
And they're always like, bro, it's the fashion. Like, if I can't slip off my helmet like this, I look like a fucking idiot. And I'm like, you look like a fucking idiot when you'll be like 50 years old with CTE, looking like Joe Biden with his Alzheimer's. Like, that's when you look like a fucking idiot.
Oh, fucking God.
But to be fair, they're like 19 years old. I wouldn't give a fuck either if I was 19 years old.
Yeah.
Like,
No, you gotta. I don't know. You gotta really think about it. You really do. I don't know. I'm probably gonna lose this year again, though. For real.
what'd you come in last year?
Fifth.
I know I made the playoffs last year. I think I lost the first round though.
Did lose the first round as well.
I won in my other league though, which was nice.
Yeah, I can't do 2 leagues anymore. I used to do 2 leagues for everything, like 2 or 3 leagues for like basketball, baseball, and stuff like that. No, never again, bro. I got 1 league. That's it. I don't even do basketball or baseball anymore. I literally just focus on fantasy football.
Basketball's tough.
Basketball, so tough. I mean,
It's-
this year with baseball, I feel like it would be a little easier because they only are playing 60 games.
Yeah.
But like, still, like, I don't even. Why would I want to do that? I have to pick 9 pitchers. Like, no, good.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know jack shit about baseball either. Like, I literally don't know anything.
Yeah. I know the most. Like, I love watching like every sport, but like I know the most about every player that plays football that are good.
Yeah.
So I just focus on that, and I'm probably gonna lose again, and I'm gonna have to deal with it,
As long as Rob doesn't win.
dude. Fuck that.
Who won last year?
Him.
Rob won?
Yeah.
Fuck, man. I don't even remember who's in our league anymore.
Just name you, me, Rob, Chris, Dylan,
John,
John,
Billy.
right?
Is Stu in our league?
Yeah.
Stu. Jason and his brother.
Right.
Okay. So I think that's 10 guys.
I like 10.
Yeah. 10's nice. 12 is like the cusp for me.
I don't even think I would ever do 12. 12 is a lot.
I would do 12 only if like there were 12 guys who I knew.
Yeah, I guess I would have to know them. Yeah.
Yeah. But if it was like 8 is a little low, we did 8 for a little bit, which was kind of nice though. Like everyone's teams were stacked and shit. Like the teams were pretty wild. But now like moving into a 10 team league, it's nice because you don't have like random ass motherfuckers. Like
Yeah.
I couldn't imagine playing a 14 team league.
No,
What like your flex is probably like fucking
nobody.
like playing Powell on the fucking weekends, bro.
Yeah,
Get the
yeah.
fuck out of here. Like get the fuck out of here.
I don't know.
It was easy to play the 2 leagues for me last year though, cause I was in like class with these guys, so like I would see them every day and like it'd be like they'd be like right in front of me like football and I'd be like
Yeah.
fuck yeah man.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm probably just gonna do the 1 league. I want to put it up to a little more money though.
Mhm.
Like, we only do like they only want to do like $20. I'm like, what's $20?
I'll bet money this year now that I'm like hopefully won't be super broke at the time, cause once I probably won't pay it up front, but I'll probably pay it like I feel like there needs to be at least a deadline though.
Yeah, Rob's done.
Oh, Rob has to get the
Out
fuck out of
there,
commissioner, bro.
There's no way he's commissioner anymore. I don't want it.
Rob's pushing trades,
Yeah,
fucking
no way.
changing
I don't
waiver
want
wires.
ESPN
I like the Sleeper app. I don't know if you've ever seen that.
either. No.
I think I might still have it. But I did the what the fuck? I did a let's see, I still have it. I did the Sleeper app and it's cool, yeah. It's cool cuz it like has like guys who are trending and shit like that. So if like there's like a yeah, whatever. Gang gang, that's the fucking chip right there, baby. My team was Patty Mahomes, Kareem Hunt, Austin Eckler, Julio Jones, Michael Thomas, Stephon Diggs,
Damn.
George Kittle, Joe Mixon, the
Are you
Texans
dead
kicker.
ass?
I made a pretty big trade at like the very end to help this other kid get in the playoffs. And then my bench was Jones the second on Tampa Bay, Jordan Howard, Kerryon Johnson, the backup for Boone, the backup for Dalvin Cook because he was hurt
Okay.
towards that end of the season, Robbie Anderson, Jared Cook, Jared Cook, and then the Bears defense.
Damn, that's a pretty good team.
My team was I had Kittle and that's I think Kittle and Thomas was what like saved my team. Eckler like dropped down a little bit, but you'll see, like here, you'll have. So this is what immediately pops up. You have this, and it has like trending up, and
That's
then
actually pretty cool. I like
trending
that.
down. So you have guys who like are
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
popping up and down, and then you have like trending available.
Who
Your
controls the
rankings.
trending, like ESPN or the
It's like the sleeper app. It's like
the actual app
it's
or whatever?
it. I guess I would think it would take information from like the app in general and see like
Blackberry or something like that.
yeah, and it would see like just people picking up guys in general.
Yeah.
So it's like the top guy would be like whoever the fuck got injured last week or who was popping off last week,
Yeah.
and they'd be like the top trending guy, and it'd be like plus whatever. I think it's plus however many people are trying to add him on his team or some shit like that. I don't know if it's like they take actual information or if it's just like their opinion and shit.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And then you have like your team news and whatever like that. It was pretty good. Like I had no complaints about it. But I like that. I've never played Yahoo.
I think I played Yahoo once. I don't know if I liked it or not. I totally forget. Oh,
I gotta take a fucking piss.
so
You can use the bathroom first if you want.